Yes, guys, you know what time is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, and now a member of the last 16 of the Champions League as well, bringing you guys your fan show after tonight's emotional roller coaster. First half, absolutely pathetic. Second half, that's more like the Tottenham we know. But Jacko, how are you, man?
I don't know how I feel, Dave. All I know is I feel relieved, really just relieved
Yeah,
on so many levels. I mean, I know we're going to dissect how horrible and atrocious the performance was, as we rightfully should, but just at the end of the day, relieved. Like I said to you also, too, I felt like we were going to probably find ourselves kind of saying the same sort of talking points had we lost that game, the same sort of characters, the usual suspect sort of conversations, the mentality conversations, the Spursiness conversations. I'm relieved, Dave, we don't have to have that conversation tonight. I'm relieved that we just get to talk about Hoiberg's bangers. We
yeah.
get to talk about, long lace headers of Starks on G's put here. We just get to talk about the simpler things, bask in the glory for right now, then talk about the serious things a bit later. I'm also kind of happy as well. The final thing I would say, too, is that this sort of game, the way that we even got to it, the way that we made it that way, that sort of
Mm.
fixture, putting ourselves in that position was already so Spurs-esque, the way that we put ourselves in that position. But then to go 1-0 down at halftime and win in the manner we did just felt almost so natural. It wasn't even a fluke, Dave. It almost is kind of
Mm.
exactly what Spurs are, and exactly probably why I think a lot of people like myself actually did sort of fall in love with this football club, because we are absolutely capable of nights like this. As much as this was an absolute kind of horror show in so many ways, as well as an absolute brilliant show, I have seen Spurs have nights like this in a similar sort of
Yeah.
ways in the past. We are sort of this type of nutcase of a club where we can just go down, but we never really know when it's over. We always seem to surprise people, and we can be absolutely disgusting on the eye, but somehow get results and find ourselves with absolute limbs. So Dave, if anything, from what I take from it, think today is one of those days where you're sort of kind of looking at it and you're like, this is probably why I became a Spurs fan, because it's all part of these things, the pain, the glutton for it. I don't know. It's all
Mm.
part of being a Spurs fan, Dave.
No, Jack, look, this is how we do Champions League campaigns. Look, we 2019 when we made the final, we got out of the group last game, didn't we? You know, we left it late enough there as well, and we ended up getting out of the group nicely and got a lot of luck along the way. But we also had some injury to key players along that route. Seems like something similar is happening here. How far can we take it? Look, who knows? Who knows? But at the end of the day, what I will say is our draw in the next round will be favourable thanks to Zinedine Salzburg pulling the trigger, which means we will get out of the group, which means we are out of the group top, which means we can only get teams that have finished second in their group. So it's an absolute added bonus, but I am absolutely still buzzing. Let's welcome some people in, then let's get the guests on and let's get the fan show on the way. Chris Wayans says, what a match. Where are the Arsenal haters now? I mean, they're all tucked up in bed crying to mommy, just saying, they're saying what do you want for Christmas? And they're just like, please, just talk them out of Europe. But look, they're going to have to just eat it. Absolutely eat it, Chris. I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. Who did they think they are? They spoke too soon, my man. Frank Lass says the first half worst I've seen is just not good enough. I absolutely couldn't agree more with you, my man. It was absolutely disgraceful. Shambolic. To be honest, there was no words for it. I mean, anytime, it doesn't matter who it was, any of the players touched the
Yeah,
ball,
he could have
just
picked
went
anybody.
straight back to Marseille, and we just let them go down the sides, build up their attack again, put balls in the box and put us under pressure. That shit has to change, Frank. It's not good for anybody, my man. Who else have we got? Carl Simpson says, well, that is not good for the heart. What is it like to be a Spurs fan? Honestly, my heart is still going absolutely madness. I mean, I can't take two more of these in a week. Bournemouth and now this. So I really can't. Really can't do it, Carl. But like Jack was saying, it's part and parcel of being a Spurs fan, my man. Sometimes you've
It's
just
what you
got to.
signed up for, Carl. I hate to say it. It's what you signed up for. It's what I signed up for, sort of intentionally. It's probably what you were born to sign up for. But this is kind of the, why I enjoy it a little bit. Kind of a sicko. I kind of do enjoy kind of that whole, roller coaster sort of affair. I know this guy, Ian Ferguson, enjoys it as well, Dave, the fellow Yank here in the chat. Ian loves, a bit of glutton for pain. He probably loved, going 1-0 down. If anything, Ian, he probably saw the script ahead of time. He probably knew how it was all going down. It's exactly what Ian loves, Dave. He loves that sort of scenario with Spurs where we look dreadful. All of a sudden, we're the different team in the second half. If I've ever talked to him, Dave, he loves being the most confused Spurs fan. He just loves these sort of nights. Big up, Ian.
Big up, Ian. Good to see you, my man. Look, I know we need Conte on that sideline for sure. But what I will say is there is a worrying trend. This is 4 games on the bounce now. We've gone into halftime 1-0 down or losing the game, and it can't continue. But big up, Ian. We've got Dark Sun G in the house. He says, Dyer, take some header lessons from Langley. Come on, you Spurs. Honestly, he rose like a phoenix through the ashes, my man. I couldn't believe it. As soon as I seen the delivery in from Perisic, I was like, well, that's in a good area, that's in a tasty area. And all it takes is la 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 Langley just to pop up, get a glancing header, puts it in the back of the net. That's OG. And look, our night just got better from there, my man.
So many sitters Moon Boots missed against Bournemouth. Absolutely right. He should be taking lessons from the Langley. Totally.
For sure. Big up, Dark Soji. Good to see you still in a good mood, by the way, my man. We've got Brian Dempsey. Can't let this result paper over the cracks, lads. That was probably the worst half of football I've seen us play in years. And look, it was absolutely atrocious. There's no hiding from it.
We said that against Bournemouth. It's gotten that bad, Brian Dempsey. It's almost like they're outdoing, the last, atrocious first half. Feels like we've said that 2 times in a row or 3 times in a row now. That's how dreadful it's been, Brian. You're spot on, brother.
Big up, Brian, my man. Definitely can't let it paper over the cracks, my man. We've got Lisa says, big up, guys. Can't believe you're still going. Being with you all day, emotionally, mentally drained, but so happy with the result. Look, we're all absolutely drained, to be honest. Me and Jack are absolutely drained. But look, we promised these fan shows. This is what the people want after the games. So, look, as long as you guys want it, we're here to deliver it. But Lisa, don't ever be afraid to come on and have your say. Big up, Lisa. Legend. Really appreciate you being with us all day as well. Paul Brown says, evening all. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Paul Brown. Great to see you, my man. Good to see you in the building. Who else have we got here? We've got Mac. He says, sweet victory, fellas. Let's enjoy it, Mac. We're enjoying it, brother. Definitely enjoying it. I mean, if you can't enjoy a win on a Champions League night, what can you enjoy in life, buddy? Big yourself up, Mac. Really appreciate you being in here. We've also got Dark Sun G21. It shows that we lost in Europe because of Tanguy, Giovanni Lo Celso, Winks, Sissoko, Bobo, which is Aurier. And I love the way he still uses it. And Sanchez. Dark Sun G, any nicknames for Sanchez? Let me know. I know you're very creative. He says, we won with Royal, Pierreman, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Langley. This shows the great window, in my opinion. Whoa. I mean, Jack, that's definitely one way of looking at it.
To be honest, I think we can look at this window and see a lot of hindsights, of course, Dark Sun G. That is always the benefit of hindsight, is looking at maybe how things have gone wrong for us, what sort of games in which we could have called upon maybe a certain player that easily we could have maybe gone for in the market. Like when you look at maybe this Kulusevski replacement that maybe or sort of backup, let's say, that we're looking for. If he doesn't really trust Hill Messi to do it, then we're probably looking at it. We're probably tired of seeing the likes of Lucas Moura kind of be a bit of a trampoline, foot or whatever people have called it in the game. So there are certain positions I think absolutely, Dark Sun G, we could look at with hindsight. But then there are other things that I think people have definitely ignored when it comes to this transfer window. For example, a player that has been hurt, Richarlison. Ultimately, a lot of people did want a backup number 9, a guy that could challenge the likes of Harry Kane, could be used if Harry Kane were hurt. Let's say what happened to Sonny today, Dave. Let's say that happened to Harry Kane. Harry Kane has some sort of, facial fracture and he's out for 2 to 3 weeks. You would have then Richarlison be able to do the job instead of a Carlos Vinicius or a Vincent Janssen or a Dane Scarlett, whatever it would be there to us. So I think we have to look at that. Basuma was a very highly rated player that just simply hasn't stepped up to the levels that Højbjerg and Bentancur have. You also look at Perisic. He has not stepped up to the levels that we know he all can, but he's still been, brilliant, at least when it comes to the assists. And you look at Langley, a guy that has also clearly been a player that needed a pick-me-up and needed a club to sort of take him into their arms and give him a chance and show the quality that he has had and displayed in the past. And we've done that. So I think a lot of areas of the squad, absolutely, Dark Sun G, people should be right in saying that we didn't address or that we could have a bit of hindsight with. But also, I think sometimes we ignore the things that Spurs did right in the transfer window. And part of the things that they did right as well is getting rid of those, those clowns that you mentioned there in the case of Tanguy, Lo Celso, Winks, Sissoko, etc. Because those guys, I'll be honest, have been a huge distraction from what we're trying to achieve with this squad. I don't think the mentality of the squad would have been there tonight, Dark Sun G, if those guys would have been around the team. If those guys were around the team today, we would not have been able to bounce back in the second half. So that does speak also to the transfer window. Spot on, brother.
Look, the transfer window, we didn't get everything we would have liked. Of course, we would have liked more across the back line, and it probably would have helped us out this month where maybe we've been absolutely run ragged. But, although maybe we haven't gotten the signings that everybody would have wanted in the door, what we have done is we built a squad that everybody is doing the right thing. Everybody is trying their best, whereas before we had players that didn't want to be here. We had cliques, we had mafias, and it showed on the football pitch. That them spirited comebacks that we're seeing now, the last couple of games, although it shouldn't be happening, we should be just at it from the off. It does show that everyone's at it. Everyone is here for the right reason, for the right cause, and it is sort of pulling us together. And hopefully now, Dark Sun G, we can kick on from this, bring in another one or two in January, and then sprinkle this team with talent in the summer. Like I said in my video there before, it was all about getting rid of the bad eggs, the fractures in the dressing rooms, and people that didn't want to be here, and bringing in a solid foundation that when you bring in the star players, they know what they have to get, what level they have to reach to. Whereas before, we're bringing in players to walk around and do what they wanted, which is not acceptable. But big up Dark Sun G. Absolutely love the way you look at that. And look, as much as people say Emerson, he done well when he came on today. He really did help change the game defensively.
I didn't even see that part. Sorry, Dark Sun G. We won with Royale, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Bentancur, Longley, all recent signings. Spot on, Dark Sun G. I didn't even see that part. Absolutely right.
It just goes to show, Dark Sun G, that we are in a good position right now in terms of players that want to be here, good, solid professionals. Now it's about sprinkling that with the talent, and that's all we need to do now, my man. Mari Spurs channel says Bentancur and Højbjerg have been the players of the year for our team. This team drives me crazy, and I love them. Big up, brothers. Well, Mari, do you know what? I was only saying previously with Jack and Shawnee that with Bentancur, Bentasauce, Zinedine Salzburg, Bissouma, and Skip, when we were all looking at it this summer, we were saying, look, they're all on an even playing field. They're all sort of offer the same thing. But then Højbjerg and Bentancur have looked at it and said, okay, well, if we want to keep our players, we have to offer something they don't. And since then, they've offered something going forward, which has took their game to a new level, which hopefully will bring Bissouma and Skip to that level. And hopefully they look at it and say, okay, we have to offer more going forward. Zinedine Salzburg, 4 goals, 4 assists this season. Bentancur scored 3 goals across his last 10 games, whereas before that he failed to score. I think he only scored 1 or 2 in like 178 games, cross club appearances. So it does show just in them regards that they are taking their numbers to a new level. And long may it continue, Mari. But that's why we're seeing Bentancur and Højbjerg shine, because they've got the work rate, and the work ethic. Although they may not be talented naturally as like an Ndombele or a Celso, but they want to be, and they try hard. And sometimes that shows through a lot more than being actually not naturally talented. You have to have the work ethic to go with it. And I think Bentancur and Bissouma are standing out because they have took their game to a level going forward, which is what fans asked them last season. Okay, what can you do going forward? Can you do anything going forward? And they've stood up to the mark. So it's good to see them getting the praise where it's due, my man. Pick yourself up. Mari, really appreciate the support, my man. We've got Jerry says, being a Spurs fan is great cardio. Strong hearts here. It's not great cardio, my man, to be honest with you. I mean, I do hiking with the Lad every Sunday now. And I mean, I don't even feel as bad coming off that as I do coming out of these games sometimes, my man.
It's too good a cardio. Maybe too good. Take it a bit easier.
Too good. We'll take a couple more comments and then we'll start getting on the guest. Mer F, brilliant show tonight, lads. Bragging rights in the garage tomorrow. Big up, Mert. Make sure you give it to Bertie for me, brother. Make sure Bertie gets it. United fan sitting there playing Umoni AFC. We're sitting here in the last 16 in the Big Boys League. Make sure Mert gets it, brother.
Big Boys League, absolutely right, Dave.
Big yourself up, Mert. We welcome a few more. We've got Dale Radford. I predicted the Højbjerg screamer in the comments earlier. Not quite a screamer. Yeah, he did. I remember seeing it.
Definitely a screamer. Come on now. Come on, I mean, a screamer, maybe if 30 or 40 yards is really what a screamer is, but end of the game, I mean, the way he hit it with absolute velocity off the woodwork and in. I mean, I'm going to give that screamer definition. I'm going to give that, especially the way he hit it, especially across goal. I'd say he didn't even hit that near post or anything. He hit that across the keeper as well. I mean, absolute screamer. I even called it a bit of a FIFA finish, Dave. It was kind of crazy, like of a finish. I thought from Salzburg, brilliant.
No, look, it takes bollocks to hit that last minute. He could have easily handed it off to Gale, handed it back to Kane,
Yeah.
but he didn't. He kept going and he held him off and striked it. That's what a Gerrard or a Lampard used to do.
Mm.
I love that. Big up, James Bond. Good to see you, 007. Hope you're keeping well, my man. If you need anyone to take over the role for the next movie, just let me know. Dark Zone G says, oh, how can I forget Deli and Vinicius and Stevie B? For why we lose away in Europe. Perisic once again shows his clutch class that leads to a goal. Dyer missed 4. And look, this is what I've been saying about Perisic. Although maybe he hasn't hit the heights that he's usually hit, the guy still gets forward, and it's gone unnoted. He still gets forward. He's been consistently putting crosses in the box where we've barely seen anything come down the right-hand side. We've seen Sessions struggles in that area even this season. And look, Perisic has just been quietly chipping away. But one thing I've been impressed with is his deliveries from free kicks and corners. He puts in a beautiful ball. And I think he's already got, 4 or 5 assists already, Jack, this season, Perisic?
I think, what was it? Somebody said
Sessions.
6 or 7? Didn't somebody
Could
say
be.
6 or 7 for for Perisic? I'm not sure. I feel like for Perisic, though, is that his class did show today, and maybe he is starting to come into his own a bit more, perhaps having a bit more of a kind of an influence on the game, Dark Sunji. But we know he can be even better in this. That's the scary thing, is that if he has 6 or 7 assists already, and we know he can be a whole lot better, imagine the numbers he could produce. I think what it's been is that he's getting the assists. It's the goals that maybe we probably expected a bit more from him, Dark Sunji. But I'm glad to see the back of Stevie. I'm glad to see the back of Vinicius. I'm glad to see the back of Deli, because like I said before, and I think you probably agree, or have even said this more than I've ever said this, Dark Sunji, those guys have really distracted from the mentality in the squad. If anything, I think Dark Sunji in the past just wished it was just a bunch of kids in the team, or at least in the squad, because then that way he knew that the mentality was at least a bit better, throughout the squad. So it's good to have those guys gone. Absolutely.
No, it is. It is. Rather than sitting here and have babies moaning, managers are too hard on me, they won't play me, this, that, and the other, never looking at themselves. At least they're gone now, and we have players that stand up there, they're accountable for their actions, my man. And now that we have the squad in that place, like I said, we just got to sprinkle the talent with it, and we're going to be fine. But I agree with you, man. I mean, a lot of them names, thank God they're gone. It was absolutely pathetic and awful to watch. You're losing games and you're seeing Joe Hart running halfway across the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, down the tunnel, into the dressing room to bowl at Harry Kane to bat. I mean, in a game of cricket, it's absolutely ridiculous, some of the shit we were seeing. People walking across doing gang signs, thinking they're part of the French and Welsh mafia, and you're sitting there, you're like, hang on a minute, guys, should you not be working on the football pitch? End on belly. Like, you can't run, so you should be on the football pitch. Gareth Bale, you've been MIA for half a season. You should be out on the training pitch. Joe Hart can't stop goals coming in from long range. He should be out on the training pitch. But we weren't seeing that. We were just seeing absolute horseshit coming out. But thank God that's changed, Dark Sound G. It's a sign of the times. Big up, brother. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the support, my man. Absolutely spot on. I love Dark Sound G when he just interjects and he just he reminds you of things, Sometimes you're thinking, oh, look, shit, first half, blah,
Good
blah,
assist.
whatever. But then he throws in them names and you're like, well, hang on, yeah, we have improved. So it's a good reminder. Big up, Dark Sound G. I love that, brother. And then Chris S says, starting to think the first half play is tactics.
I think we've seen this before, though, Chris. I think we've seen this before in the past. This game was actually a game where I actually don't think that was probably as much the tactic, because I see it probably being the case in other games. I think this is what we were trying to do against the likes of the Scum. This is what we were trying to do against the likes of Man United, probably against other kind of big teams and big scenarios that we've come up against as well. It's just we have conceded and then we weren't able to come back. I think the whole point is to get into halftime 0-0 or 1-0 up, and then by tiring out the opposition, like somebody said before, you can then take advantage of them in the second half. I don't think it's in the game plan to concede in the ways that we continue to do. So I'm not sure. This game, maybe it was part of the tactic, but I feel like the tactic you're alluding to, Chris, I think we've actually definitely gone for exactly what you're saying in other games, especially Man United and Arsenal. It just didn't work out for us in those ones for a variety of reasons, we obviously know. But this game, I'm not so sure if it's exactly what we were going for, because it was a much more delicate sort of scenario this game. I think they would have loved to have been 1-0 up. If Spurs had gone 1-0 up first, it would have been like tension, everything would have been relieved.
I'll tell you what, though, it'll be interesting to see if this persists after the World Cup. If it doesn't, I mean, it's just players holding themselves back. Could be a tactic to try and manage the amount of games we're going through as well. Look, it'll be interesting. I think we'll get all the answers we need after the World Cup, to be honest with you on that, Chris S. But look, whatever it is, whether it's instructions, whether it's the players just being mentally weak, I do not care. The shit's got to stop. I can't keep going through it. And plus, it's just boring, isn't it? It's just boring.
Yeah, the first halves are just unwatchable.
You're watching teams like Bournemouth, like Marseille, passing it around, creating things, and you're sitting there, you're like, hang on, we've got Harry Kane, we've got Son, we've got Salzburg, we've got Bentancur, can't even move the ball 5 yards, can't even link up with each other. What's going on? So that has to change, Chris says. Big yourself up. But look, we've got lots of guests in the house, so we're going to get into it. We're going to keep this moving along nicely. Let's get the first guest on, and it is Michael. Michael, how are you, my man?
Hello, boys. Hello.
Happy man after that?
Yes, of course. I'm buzzing. I'm still buzzing. I haven't calmed down yet.
Left speechless, I would imagine, like us, because I was left speechless after that, Michael. I had a headache. I didn't know what to say. I didn't understand how we got there. So basically, let's just break it down here for you, Michael. First half, the way that we were playing, I'd never seen Sean scream that much in the watch along, never seen him that nervous before. Just break down the first half for me. What was going wrong for us, and then lead into the second half and how we recovered. But I think we do have to talk about the first half. How nervous were you seeing how poor we were playing in the first half? How nervous were you?
So what happened in the first half also connects with how I felt before the game started, because we've been like talking plenty about whether the Spursy mentality is still here or not, or whatever, right? And whether we feel confident in the games or not, right? And I've said like 1 or 2 times here already that I think I've started to like weed it out of my head to the thought of like we are surely going to fuck it up. And I started to weed it out, but unfortunately in the past few games, or I would even say for like a big part of the season, we weren't performing in the first halves. So with all of that in mind, before the game started, I would snap your hand off for a draw in that game. I'm not gonna lie. I was on the verge of like accepting that we will probably get knocked out. But
yeah, I was.
Yeah, like of course you believe, you are a fan. I was buzzing for that game. I was cheering our boys on, right? But deep inside me, I had like that feeling of acceptance that I shouldn't like expect much from this game. And that first half didn't like make things better. I was absolutely like it was like it's
Was it the worst performance of the season, that first half?
Yeah, some had said that was the worst first half they've seen this season. I thought that we said that even the last game. I thought we said that the game before that against
this
Bournemouth.
One was worse.
Yeah, like
Bournemouth 2-0 down though. 2-0 down to Bournemouth at halftime.
I personally think that the first half against United was worse, and I would, and it's recency bias also in my opinion. But the first half against Chelsea was also absolutely dog shit. If you
is this
like
a tactic? Let's get to the bottom of it, Michael. Is this a tactic for you, or is it maybe the players playing scared, and then as soon as the pressure is off because they're losing, then they just feel free, and it's a mentality problem, and they can go on and play? What do you think it's down to? Because this is the $1 million answer, my man.
It's hard for me to understand, like to get to my head that Conte tells them play shit for 45 minutes. This cannot be the level of performance simply cannot be a tactic, right? What the tactic can be is absorb pressure in the first half and hit them like in the second half. Because actually, when you look at plenty of, I know that stats are for max or whatever, right? But when you look at it, we are one of the most running team in the league and in the Champions League. Like today, top 5 players that ran the most in that game were Tottenham players, and Perisic was first with almost 13 kilometers run. That's for
Wow.
his age. That's absolutely
Yeah,
incredible.
that's unbelievable.
That's unreal. So when you look at that, I understand that tactically maybe we are set up to absorb pressure. The problem is that, and it all comes back to the same topic that me and David always say: this defense is shit, and most of its players are not good enough to
Yeah.
perform that tactic, unfortunately. And we see this tactic failing in the sense of us being so bad because our midfield and our forward line don't trust that back line,
Mm,
especially when there is no Romero in there.
What was it in today, though, particular, Michael? Was it them giving the ball away so much, not clearing their lines confidently? I think those two things popped out to me today, was the
mm,
fact that the back line gave the ball away just so much, but
Yeah,
also they didn't even clear their lines that confidently. I think only until Emerson really came onto the pitch, and then we felt like we could actually clear some of those balls into the box. But I don't know, like, what was it about the back line that was kind of letting us down today for you?
yeah, like the main culprit in this game. And listen, I don't want to slate the guy because he's young, but I think that Sessegnon this game was
Yeah, I
absolutely
thought he was
shit.
poor.
He was so poor. His performance was so bad. Like Nuno Tavares was constant because he played on the right, Sessegnon, right, and Nuno Tavares plays on the left. I
mm.
think as
Yeah,
far
you're
as I
right.
remember, he
You're
was
right.
matched against Tavares, right? He was constantly ripping him apart. He drew like 2 or 3 fouls. Actually,
Yeah.
if because I was going to big up this guy at the beginning for not blowing the whistle too
Yeah, I was
early.
gonna say the Polish team.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Polish referees were
We're
there
on
too.
lost cousins.
Polska Górą boys. But yeah, but
And
if
also thanks
Marciniak,
to Kwiatkowski for not in the VAR room today. He didn't do anything today. Very nice of him. Kept nice and quiet over there.
Yeah,
Nice, probably drinking some Tiskies and just enjoying, the match from the looks of it. Nice of him. So nice to see he
yeah,
didn't get
yeah.
involved.
Actually, really nice pronunciation, Jack. I
Thank
applaud
you.
you there. So yeah, but like all that things aside, like I think that Marciniak easily could have booked Sessegnon earlier, and it would make for an even more of a problem
mm,
that side. And actually, as shit as Royale is, and as much as I don't like him coming on in the second half actually shored us up on the right side, which
yeah.
was huge because we actually were so more solid defensively. We still weren't good, and he almost threw this game away. Royal when the header on the far post came, and they had 2-on-1 against Royal, and that the
Mm,
Kolasinac or whatever his name
yeah,
is
class match.
somehow
Yeah,
somehow
Him and Dyer looked atrocious there at the end. Yeah, Dyer
yeah
wasn't marking anybody, and Emerson got distracted by somebody. It looked like, and was marking the wrong guy. You're right.
yeah
And
yeah
Kolasinac
like
should have buried that. But
we were
Stellini, we were asking this. Stellini brought on Emerson right away. Like he was not even the ball was
Didn't
kicked
they?
off yet. Was that Stellini's call? Conte's call?
I think they had Conte on the comms somehow,
Yeah,
and
100%.
yeah, like from what Stellini was talking, I think that he's also because he is Conte's right hand man, right? And he's I am sure that he knows this team as well as Conte does, so he probably
Mm,
knew what to do. But I think that also sometimes the decision like that comes from the most brave person, and I think that Conte isn't shying away from such decisions. So whether it was because of working with Conte that Stellini made the decision, or it was
mm.
Conte himself. I am so happy that it happened. And as I say, it's not. I'm not saying that Royal is good. I still think that he's an absolutely atrocious footballer. But in this particular circumstance, he actually
Is he the
helped us
best right
out.
wing
You
back
can
we
say
have?
save. You can say save Emerson. It's okay. You can say
Is he
save
Yeah,
the
Emerson.
is he the best for that position though? For being brutally honest, because we've tried Perisic there. He started off there. Then he was there for a while. Sessegnon, Doherty. Is Emerson the best we've got? Like many people say to me, Dave, shut up about Dyer, shut up about Davies. It's all we've got to January. Should I be saying the same about Emerson?
there was that one episode of Mythbusters when they polished a piece of turd, and our two other options on the right hand side are just thirds, and he's a polished piece of third. So like it's hard to call him the best when he is not good. Like, but I guess compared to Doherty, he is better than him. And listen, it's hard for me to judge Spence because as we haven't seen him
That's
play,
true.
right? So
That's
so it's
true.
hard for me to judge if he's better than Spence. I guess there has to be
His level
something.
may be more consistent, because even
Yeah,
if you don't like him, I think it's more like his impact on the game seems to be more consistent than, even if it's not a great impact, like in the way that we know it should be. He seems to just do a better job about getting the ball forward, getting the ball into Kane, making runs and behind, like, winning his tackles, etc. He seems to just do the bare minimums maybe more consistently. That's how I see it,
Yeah.
at least, Michael. I think he does the bare minimums of that position
Exactly.
more often than actually Doherty does, and the other players maybe do. And that's really all you ask for. Perhaps that's also why Conte might be such an Emerson stan, and maybe on the, because he was in the stands actually, Michael, and perhaps on the comms he wanted to see his favorite player come onto the pitch, likes of Emerson. But what did you make of that, actually, Conte in the stands and right next to Daniel Levy and amongst the crowd, you could say, and everything? What did you make of that perspective that Conte had in this game? David kind of asked me about this, the perspective that he had, maybe.
Yeah, like I
Did he
think
feel
that
like us, really, like watching that game?
definitely there are like snippets of his reaction to the second goal and his reaction to the final whistle, and he was absolutely buzzing. You could see he reacted the same way that we did. And yeah, actually, I think that our team lacked him heavily in the first half. Whether whether you like his tactics or not, Conte being there and barking orders, saying like, "Says go there, Højbjerg go there," Son cover here, Kane cover here. Like, it's important for that team. You can clearly see that he is playing the game with them. Of course, he cannot put on the boots and join them. I think that if only his legs allowed him to do, he would do
He
that.
would.
Yeah, he definitely would do that, but unfortunately he can't. He was a class player, by the way, Conte. But the thing that came to my mind when I watched the first half and when I watched the second half, right, was that we were basically, in the first half, we were a bunch of headless chickens. Like, we didn't know what to do and when to do it. And there were plenty of like loose balls. As you guys said, the defense was losing the ball so much that our whole 11 players had to the whole other six had to cover for their mistakes and had to sit in. And I was watching this game with a buddy of mine, and we are commenting on the first half. He's also a Spurs fan, right? And we were saying that we are so deep that even if we get the ball of their attackers and we pass it to our attackers on midfield, there is still
There's nowhere to go.
still two or three like barriers to go through their midfield and their defense, because we are so deep, right? So in the first half, I didn't expect us to do much, and ironically enough, us conceding, and here we come to the second half. I don't know, like, as you guys said, it's as if the shackles are off, and they know that if they don't risk it, they won't win. And actually, like, how many times do they need to prove to themselves that they have to risk sometimes? Because you cannot play the game with hands behind your back and always like soaking in the pressure. And one thing to add also, boys, like, this team has major players out injured, and I think that when the like that crop of players comes back to the team, I think that we will see a better type of football. I think that we will be more expansive and more brave on the ball. But unfortunately, right now there is no other way to play than like that. And I know it's painful to watch it in the first half, but the second half, I really enjoyed it, and it's the same thing that happened in the second half against Bournemouth. I really enjoyed how we played. We were brave on the ball. We took the ball off them plenty of times in the midfield, and actually not when we were sitting back like at the edge of our box. It was in the midfield. So when we transitioned to the attack, it was quick, rapid, and we actually started creating dangerous situations. I really enjoyed that. But it comes again. We take the shackles off, and suddenly this team starts playing, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, and you know,
spot on.
clutch header from Langley. He was pretty much. I mean, he was marked, but the guy marking him like did a major fuck up, and
Yeah.
beautiful header by Langley. And what a finish by Sosberg! Oh my
Oh,
Yeah.
god! Like,
Can we get on to kind of maybe I was going to say Michael because we do have a few more guests to get to.
yes,
Can I
sure,
get
sure,
your
sure.
man of the match and maybe, your final question here? Can I get your man of the match and also describe that Salzburg finish for me
Oh,
as well?
dude,
Describe it
it was.
because I think people saying I described it as a screamer. I understand a screamer, by
this is
law.
screaming.
By law,
It
a
is a
screamer
screamer,
is usually
defo.
30 or
It's
40 yards. It's usually, but the way it was hit off the woodwork, across the keeper as well, not even a near post finish, a far post finish as well from Højbjerg. I mean, just gorgeous.
yeah, a gorgeous
And last
strike.
kick of the game, I think, if I'm
Yeah,
not
like,
mistaken as well. What a send off.
I was on We Are Tottenham TV like before this fan show, right? And I said that if he was running for 95 minutes straight, right? The way that he controlled the ball, made the final run, and struck it with such precision and such like it it couldn't have been
Mm.
better than what he did. Because if I honestly didn't expect him to score, because of course you wouldn't. He is a midfielder, yada yada yada, right? He is proving again and again that actually there is more to this guy than we think there is. Because
Mm.
plenty of people called him like a cement mixer or whatever, right? That he is just a worker. He has no flair, no, not what, nothing, right, about him
Mm.
special. He already has 4 goals, 4 assists this season, and it's the thing that we've all been asking for our midfield to contribute offensively, and both him and Bentancur are contributing, right? So yeah, I think it's also massive for our hopes for progressing further, right? Because if you
Mm.
look at it, sorry boys, I will bring it on like quickly, right? We went from possibly facing like Napoli, Bayern,
Yeah.
Not Chelsea, Real Madrid,
Højbjerg saved us
PSG,
from that. Like,
right?
we also have to think about that. He saved us from having to play those teams.
Look, we
Yeah,
better keep this. We better
yeah,
Oh,
we
keep this
went
sorry,
moving,
David.
Michael.
yeah, we went from those teams to like Club Brugge, Inter, Milan, Lipsk, Borussia, Leipzig. Sorry, Lipsk is the Polish version of that name. Borussia Dortmund, Benfica. Right? It's it is such a clutch goal. But I will surprise you. I think my man of the match was Bentancur, and it's
Yeah.
hard for me not to give it to Højbjerg. He was
Mm.
as good as Bentancur, but
I agree,
Bentancur
Brian
gave
Bentancur.
it that just a bit more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was like when you saw him pressing the keeper in the
Yeah.
80th minute or what or 70 whatever minute, right? This guy has lungs of steel, and he's not afraid to risk, and he's not
Mm.
afraid to run. And I am so happy to have this guy in our team. I am so surprised and so proud that he's part of our team. And same thing with Højbjerg. I think those two guys are absolutely massive for us. And actually, I want to also shout out Bisuma a bit, because he wasn't, of course,
All right,
wasn't
last
like
shout
no
out,
one.
Michael, because we do got to keep
Yeah,
going.
Yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah.
do. We've
Last
got
shout out,
loads of
Yes,
Michael.
people getting
sorry, boys,
behind
sorry,
you,
boys, sorry,
Michael.
boys.
Loads of
Yeah,
people.
no, like he wasn't on Højbjerg's and Bentancur's level, but he was doing bits in the midfield. And the Liverpool will be tough because it seems that Sonny will be out. Kulu is out, Ricci out, Romero out.
Mm.
Let's hope that none
Yeah.
of the other boys get injured. So the weekend will be tough, but I am buzzing. I am so happy that we got like from the to the round of 16 from the first spot. And
Mm.
yeah, like we deserve the win with the performance that we put in the
Absolutely.
second half.
All
And
that
I
matters
am,
is being there. All that
yeah,
matters is
all
being
that
there.
matters is the score at the end of the game, right? So I am so proud, and I am so happy, and I can't wait for the knockout stage and who we get. It's by the way, it's tomorrow, right?
No,
We
I'm
get to
not sure.
know.
Oh, well, I think we'll know. I think we'll know who we can get. Yeah, but I don't think the draws until till December sometime. I think.
Yeah, yeah. I will check it and write it down in the chat, just for the sake
Yeah,
of it.
let
But
us know.
yeah, go on, boys.
Yeah,
Have a nice
we've got
chat with
loads of
other
people in the
guys, and
background,
yeah,
so we just
yeah.
got to keep
Appreciate
it
you, Michael.
moving.
Thanks for getting us
Big up,
started, my
Michael.
man.
Lovely, guys. Cheers. And
Catch
come
you,
on, you
brother.
Spurs.
Come on, you
I'm
Spurs.
so proud.
Massive day. Enjoy the Tiskies, my man. Enjoy them. Hopefully they're flowing. Hopefully they're flowing. Big up, Michael. Catch you,
Big
brother.
Big up,
Michael.
guys.
See
Big
you
up.
soon, brother. Bye-bye. Great call in there from Michael. Great call in.
I
Absolutely.
wish we could
love
talk
his
to him for
analysis
30
of the
minutes,
game.
but we just
Yeah.
can't. I wish we could talk to him for 30, but we just can't.
Yeah.
Big up, Michael. Hopefully you can talk to me maybe for 30 minutes on Friday, actually, when we have the fan show, because that's what it's all about. It's about the vibes. Everybody can have a good chat with me then. Conan Taki here. Dyer and his stupid flickbacks inside our box. There were a few different hospital passes that he committed today, Conan, that I thought were just atrocious. Let's be honest. There was one where he, hit it across the field where it went to Longley or somebody, and it was like in the air, like really high as well. Just an atrocious pass. And then also as well, some of his clearances I didn't think were too convincing. Another thing too, Conan, and you probably noticed this too, I would imagine, was I felt like Dyer in the first half, he was just going for so many like hero passes is how I put them, like trying to just be the man and like go for some sort of Glenn Otto pass from really deep. And it just, all we needed was just some composure, just keep possession, get the team into the game, let everybody have their touches. But people like Moon Boots, the reason they're called Moon Boots is because of the things he was doing on the ball today, especially in the first half. He was just mooning it back to the defense anytime that he got it. Conan Taki, completely agree, my man.
Big up, Conan. Really appreciate support, my man. Michael has put in there, he says it's the 7th of November is the draw. So Friday is the 4th. So that'll be next Monday. Interesting times ahead. Be good to know who we'll get, but tomorrow we'll know definitely who we can get. So big up, Michael. Really appreciate that, my man. Awesome. Great to see you, buddy. I hope you're keeping well. This is the answer to everyone's question is stamina. Tottenham only has 40 minutes stamina, so Conte has to play defensive in all first half to avoid injury. Second, the game begins.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think there's definitely an argument to say that maybe we are holding back. We're letting teams tire themselves out and then going at them in the second half because we have superior fitness levels. I think some of the late goals would probably suggest that as well, Jack.
Yeah, I think some of the fitness levels do maybe suggest that Spurs are sort of holding out for the second half. I'm not even sure, though. Is it because we're just tired in the first half to begin with, and then we sort of conserve our energy? I think what it is that we do maybe consider letting the team expend themselves a lot in the first half, the opposition, I mean, Osama. And it is weird. Like, are we letting them into the game, just letting them expend a lot of, energy going forward? And then if we can get into halftime 0-0 or 1-0 up, as I've continued to say, after they've already expended a lot of energy, then you can absolutely put, your foot on their throat in the second half. And I think that's sort of how Conte is going about it. The problem is that he continues to find himself 1-0 down or 2-0 down at halftime. So he's just like, boys, we have to go all out for this one. But there is something I think to be said about, and it seems to be what on everybody's mind right now, Dev. I guess every sort of fan has come to notice that Spurs are very much a second half team, and they want to get to the bottom of it. So we absolutely have to address it tomorrow on the debate show, Asama. We absolutely
that we definitely do. We can't keep continuing like this. But big up, Asama. We're true, and that's all that matters, my man. But really appreciate the support, brother. But look, let's keep this going because I don't want to keep the guests up too late either. We've got a new one in the build. Not new. Sorry, how dare I? He's always been here, but he's making his debut on the fan show this evening, and he's wearing a flat cap. He knows how to get me going. Big up, Kev Williams. How you keeping, brother?
Hey, Jack, how are you, boys?
We're all good. We're all good, my man. Look, as happy as you. I love seeing that grin. As happy as you. We're through to the last round. But look, Kev, take it away. What do you make of that game today? Very emotional, up and down.
Oh, I was putting some proper swear words in that first half, I tell you. It's hard work, the first half. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, this season has been tough, the first half of most of the games, but we do come out the second half. I think our fitness levels have really gone up. Ventroni's been, God bless him, he's been a big part of our fitness levels this season. I think that's seen us through many a game. But I think with the second half, it just showed what Conte's installing into the team now. And I think he's really, even though he's in the stands, everything was going against us tonight. No manager, no pre-match speech. Romero, heart of the defence missing. Sonny with that bang to his eye going off, and it didn't look good. It didn't look good going into the second half, but we battled through it. And I think it's just credit to how Conte's instilled this fighting spirit into the team. And I think if given the right players and the right money, I think he's got everything in place to really push us on to maybe a title-winning team, maybe in 2 years, I think.
Absolutely.
Here's the $1 million question, though, Kev. Will he get the right money? Will he get the right players in?
I think so. He's been given funds already, and I think he needs to keep on at Levy. And I think if Levy's got the right mindset, because he knows that the fans won't accept anything less. And I think January, another 50, 60, 70 million maybe. And it's hard to get the players in January, but next summer, 150 again. Yeah, I think we can pull in some really top players, but we need to make sure that we secure the contracts of Conte and Kane. That's vital.
Yeah, it's absolutely vital. It does look like we are trying to do that at the minute, which is definitely a positive. And I think you're dead right about the fighting spirit. I mean, we're showing plenty of that of late. It's absolutely great to see. But what do you think was the catalyst for that second half performance? Because it's absolutely night and day from the first half. Is it someone like what Mike was saying, a Bentancur who he's chasing down the goalkeeper, he's turning over the ball in the middle of the park? What do you think was the catalyst?
Yeah, but I don't know. We're just a different team when we come out the second half. I think it's like, listen, boys, you got 45 minutes now. You win the game. I think it's just that halftime talk. It's like if you got 90 minutes ahead of you, it's a different game. But when you got 45 minutes ahead of you, it's make or break. I think it's just like a mentality thing. I think our fitness levels are better than they've ever been. And I think that they just look at it as a finish line there. You just got to get to it. And I think the second half, we just come out fighting. And I think that's just how it is. We got to ride through the first half. And then the second half, it's just a different story. And that's how it is.
I agree there, Kev.
As hard as it is, the first half to watch, I think that's how we've just got to beat it out this season, as hard as it is.
Many people are saying, though, Kev, we can't keep going like this because it's papering over the cracks. Do you think tonight is just a night where, look, you just got to sit back? It's a knockout, sort of like a cup final in the Champions League. You're true to the knockouts, just accept it for what it is. But at the end of the day, we've reached our goal, which was to get out of the group.
Yeah, possibly, but I think the World Cup's got a lot to say for it as well, I really do think so. I think the players have got one eye on the World Cup. I really do.
Why is that? Is it because they're good players in their respective sides, like starters? That's my theory, is that players like Bentancur, Romero, Kane, they're all like the best players in their team. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly, but if you're like a Kane or someone, there's no doubt that it's in his mind. The World Cup in November. There's no doubt in my mind that they're thinking one eye on the World Cup.
Sonny
and
too.
Maybe not giving 110%. Do that extra push of a tackle, hamstring going, anything tweaked, ankle with Kane. You got to watch. So I think there's always that little bit. If it's a player that's not going to the World Cup, there's no way that they would be like backing out of a tackle. They would be giving it 110%. But a player that's going, maybe 80%, 70%. That's just my opinion,
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I think, look, there's obviously players out there, like Jack was saying, that will be starting for the national team, and they're not putting it all on the line. I think you're absolutely spot on there, Kev, if I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, actually. First half, so Sonny, obviously, with his injury, look, poor guy, hopefully he doesn't miss the World Cup, and hopefully he can get back to full health. But we then switched to a 3-5-2. And I said at the time, it's just going to encourage us to sit deeper and deeper and deeper. Does the 3-5-2 work here at Tottenham Hotspur with the players we've got?
Good question.
Yeah, I think it does, because our midfield is quite strong. If you look at Bentancur, you got Basuma, Højbjerg. I mean, they're really strong defensive. But what I think we're missing is a cam. We need that cam. And I think in January, if we can pick up a Maddison, I think that will push us on for the rest of the season.
Make
I think
it look
a
a
cam
bit better.
is vital in January.
Is that priority for you over a defender?
Tough call. It depends whether Romero.
It is. I was sweating myself with that question, Kev. I'm glad he's asked me that.
Yeah, it's a hard one to call because Dyer's hit and miss. He's always got that mistake in him. Sanchez, I just don't trust him. Lenglet showed that he can really pull it off tonight. I mean, I had a lot of faith in Lenglet, the way that he holds onto the ball. Romero, if he can keep fit. But I think I just want to see Spence given a chance. And also, if we can get a Cam. And what I'm looking at tonight, I mean, our forward selection is just really poor. Looking on the bench, we haven't got anyone. Sonny went off. I hope he's all right. And it just goes to show that Liverpool fans are now hoping that Son is concussed, so he's out for 6 matches. Sorry, 6 days, so that he doesn't play. You know, it just shows that, I don't know.
If he's out, we find ourselves with what? Basically a recovering Lucas Moura, no Richarlison, no Kulusevski. It is threadbare, but I think we do pay the price in that case, Kev Williams, of maybe, as much as I love the prophecy of Hill Messi, I think we did find ourselves in the situation where, had we maybe moved on a Hill or put him on loan and brought in that Malinovsky or somebody that could have been that target, I think we would be finding ourselves in a much better position. I just, another question though here for you, Kev. Take yourself to halftime, and I know you alluded to this earlier, but you basically find yourself, and I know this is painful to ask if you're, to take yourself to this position, but at halftime, you were 1-0 down. No Romero, no Richie, no Richie to bring on, no Kulusevski to bring on, no Antonio Conte, so we know as well in the dressing room. Maybe the kit man tried his best to sneak him in, via the laundry hamper, but we don't know. You find yourself basically, I must be honest, with really not a lot to be hopeful about. And somehow, again, Spurs find themselves, picking themselves up. Is there a case to be made about Spursiness and that sort of tag being kind of chipped away at and being eroded away at?
So,
because I'll be honest, let's say, most teams would be looking at that situation and being like, well, lads, this is not looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Spursy tag's getting chipped away, definitely, because you don't hear it being said as much anymore. And I hate that tag.
People hate that word.
So much. I hate it so much. I think everything was going against us, and especially Conte just being in the stand, and being in the Champions League. They're so stringent on how much contact the manager doesn't have with the team. I mean, it's like in the past, like you had Mourinho being sneaked in this trolley with the kit. So he can get the speech, but they're so stringent in the Champions League. So everything was against us. This game, and then at half time, everything going against us again. So it just shows how much mentality switch that the team's now got. Yeah. The second half, we just really come out and we're a different team. It's great. Loving it.
I think you're kind of spot on with the mentality. I think, and Dark Sanji alluded to this earlier, that a lot of people are glossing over that. We missed some big characters in this today. We were missing like Conte, Sonny going off injured earlier, Romero across the back line, Kulusevski, we know what he offers to the forward line, Richarlison, who scored 2 against them last time out. We were missing some big players today. I think for them to stand up, show a bit of fight, charisma, because they could have easily folded, right? They could have easily folded and said, look, our European away record, blah, 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 blah. But they didn't. They stood up from a counter today. So I think I'm absolutely buzzing with that. Benticor and Salzburg, though, Kev, taking their games to a new level. I mean, are they playing the best football we've seen from them right now?
Oh, don't you just love it, man? That midfield, honestly, Benticor, he's just been a revolution.
Proud of.
He has been awesome. And that goal tonight off
Salzburg. That's all you need. You don't need to call him Højbjerg. You don't even need to think about how to pronounce it anymore, Kev. You don't even need to think about pronunciations or anything. It's just Salzburg. And even actually, I think he speaks a bit of French, so it's actually Les Salzburg, the Salzburg. I think he's the Salzburg.
What a goal, man. The way that he hit it, he could have gone into the corner with it. He could have passed it back, just pinged it in off the post, brilliant. Loved it. Massive smiles. I was
Do you
buzzing.
think it takes bollocks though to step up at that like last kick of the game and try it from where he did?
Oh yeah, definitely. But you saw in the pre-match where Conte wasn't even allowed to give a. Well, I don't know if he was not allowed to give, but I don't think he turned up to the pre-match speech. Do you know, on the media and Hoy Baskets, he was on there, didn't he? He was giving all the media speech, wasn't he? And he stepped up. He looked like he wanted to take the game, didn't he? And he did it. Great, man. Yeah.
Absolutely spot on. The same as Bentancur as well. I thought when we were looking for that guy to maybe spark us into life, seeing Bentancur running around, zipping around, chasing balls down and stuff like that, I thought he really found us a bit of character and a bit of maybe the way forward when we needed him most. But look, one thing I didn't do on that salon today, Kev, which I usually do, is the man of the match. So tell me, who's your man of the match today?
Ooh, I'm going to have to go for Højbjerg or Basuma. I don't know. It's split. I don't know. I'm going to go for Højbjerg.
A lot of people are giving Basuma praise.
I thought he was like much improved in the second half. Much improved, Dave. But I don't know if man of the match, but much improved. Like
I think because of the goal and the way he pinged it, I think it's going to go to the man. Yeah, it's going to go to Pierre. Defo. It's going to go to Pierre for me.
I love that. That. Well, Kev, anything else you want to say to Spurs fans out there before we let you go?
No, I'm just glad to be on the show and wearing my flat cap, and it's great to see you both, Dave and Jack. And I'll just keep up with the Spurs and everything on here, and just great job that you're doing for the show, lads. Loving it.
I want to say a massive thank you to you, Kev, because although some people, because there's so many people in chats and all, and it's hard for me to get around to every individual, you've been a long-term supporter of this channel, my man.
Yeah, from the start, Dave.
Quite some time. And I want to say a massive, massive thank you for your loyal support and your following, my man. And it's great to finally have you on. Yeah, and hopefully this isn't the last time we see you on these fan shows, brother.
No, I'm going to be on again. I'll get my flat cap on.
I was buzzing to see you in the back end, Kev. I was buzzing to see you.
With your stats, mate. You're doing so great, mate.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, great. Spot on. Cheers,
Love
boys.
It, man.
No, big
great job,
Kev. Give me a big come on, you Spurs, before you go. You know how this ends.
Come on, you Spurs. Living it.
Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Kev.
Big
up to Monday and see who we get, yeah?
Love the flat cap as well, by the way. Don't lose that.
Yeah, looking good, my man. Nice beard as well with the touch off of it. Looking good.
Better than mine. People say I have a strong beard game, and then Kev comes on and makes
with the white tee, Dave. He's looking good. He's looking good.
Hey, we'll have to sort out a beer at the ground. We'll have to get you both over, yeah?
Do you know what? Sir. I'm hoping that we'll actually get over for West Ham. February. Make sure you're there, my man, and we'll definitely I don't drink. I'll have a Coke, but I'll definitely sit there with you.
I'm trying to get to the North London Derby in January.
Do you know what? Leave that one with me. I might see you there, brother.
Oh, good man.
I can't miss that. I can't miss that. Big up, Kev.
Alrighty, Kev. We'll catch you soon, brother.
See you soon, my man.
Take care. Great show. Thanks, lads. Keep it going.
No worries.
Thank you. I appreciate
you.
See you
soon. We'll see you soon. Big up, brother.
Do you know what? It's great.
Another debut smash, Dave. Another debut smash by the Kev Williams. And like you said, Kev Williams has been in here for a really, really long time. I was buzzing to see him in the background because I was like, I know that name, Kev Williams. Yeah. And this guy's been here for a while, and it was really good to see him on. So everybody, big him up in the chat. Show him some love, please.
It's great to see him smiling as well. You know, absolutely great to see the guy smiling. Hopefully. And guys, you know, just like Kev, come on, you know, just get on here, have your say. Doesn't matter whether you've been tuning in for a long time and haven't come on yet or whether you're only new. Does not matter. Get on and have your say. We constantly want, this is what it's here for the Spurs community, the Spurs fans to have their say. BT Sports don't give it to you. Sky Sports don't give it to you. And the club don't give it to you. We are, so make sure you use it. Got a couple of super chats here. Dark Sun G says, from going fourth in the Conference League because of COVID, Nuno into the first in the Champions League with Conte and the Hitman. The massive change in 1 year is huge. A few more players and we will go ahead of Liverpool in squad and trophies. And I think that's absolutely spot on, Dark Sun G. I think, look, although it's been a crap October, look, can't deny it, it's been a crap October. We start out November today, hopefully the way we need to go on. But when it was bad, it's sometimes you just got to take yourself out of all the immediacy. And I get it because it's games every 3 days. it's just ticking fast. You don't have time to take yourself out immediately.
Can't dwell on it too much. Yeah.
But I've asked this question time and time again, Dark Sun G, in the last few build-up shows. You know, is it as bad as Spurs fans are making out to be? If you take yourself back to, like you're saying, going out with a whimper in the Europa Conference League, now qualifying first from the Champions League, although we may not have had the window everybody's wanted, although we may not have had a good October, it's signs of improvement. It really is, in my opinion. You wouldn't think it, but I think it is. Can we do what Liverpool have done in terms of squad and trophies? Only if we keep Antonio Conte here and continue to back him.
I think a few more players, and we will absolutely go ahead of Liverpool. In terms of, I just feel like Liverpool are actually like, we're not going to talk about them, but Dark Sun G, I just don't even know if they're going to be coming back. I just don't really see any semblance of a squad right there, and I think especially we are a very weakened team coming up against them this weekend. It's sort of, we're so weakened that we act to, or sort of be realistic with ourselves, Dark Sun G, that we aren't going up against this Liverpool team where sort of last season we were like, you know what, we played better than them in both occasions. We deserve all 3 points in both games. Let's smack them this time. We're so like we're lacking the full power. We're lacking the full strength of players that we depend on to get a result against them. So if we somehow get 3 points, I think, against Liverpool, I think that says a whole lot about the situation that they're in, because we basically, all we have is Lucas and Kane basically left in terms of forwards. If he even wants to try to trust Hill Messi, that's what he has. I think Conte, from what he has achieved with what this squad in a year, is unbelievable, Dark Sun G. He's taken Ben Davies at so many levels. He's practically repaired his Spurs career. Dyer, he's taken absolute levels. I mean, he's gotten such good jobs out of this, Dark Sun G. He's done an absolute job. And I think even tonight sort of reflects the incredible performance that, you know, the Spurs players were able to put in the second half, but also the fact that Conte, I don't know, Dave, like, considering now that it's been a year and he's just done that, taken us into the round of 16 after all this, just sort of ties off his year a little beautifully, I must say, especially considering all the doubts that were on him originally too.
100%. Dark Sun G, what a difference a year can make, my man. He also says Bentancur and Kulu play for us equals Juventus to Europa League. I love that. He says Langley plays for us equals Barcelona go to the Europa League. Laugh my ass off. These players, those clubs thought needed to go, is missed. It seems like that, Dark Sun G. It's hard to argue with that, to be fair. Look, hopefully we can get more of these rejects in, to be honest with you. Kuno and Bentancur, if we can find 2 more Juve rejects like that, bring them in. If we can find another reject like Langley, bring them in, my man. I'm absolutely all for it. Absolutely love that, Dark Sun G. Big yourself up, my man.
Great bit of housery.
Oh, my voice is gone. My voice is gone. But big up, Dark Sun G. Really appreciate it, brother. But look, let's keep this going. Who have we got next? I believe it's Rhode Island's finest, I think, is next.
Yes, Mr. P Dubs is in the house. We're going to bring him on next. P Dubs, if you have your camera there. Well, maybe it's not working. Maybe just go to the, just go
outside. He's in the hot tub.
He's in the hot tub, so we can't see him.
I am in the hot tub. I'm trying to.
I just got to grab a drink of water. Back.
No worries, P Dubs. It's no big deal, my man. It's no big deal on the camera.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, my man. No big deal on the camera, brother. Tell us about last night, or tell us about tonight, my man. It feels like last night, but tell us about it. Emotions, second half, maybe even take you there. Like I said before, you found yourself 1-0 down at halftime. Nobody be able to bring on, nobody be able to make a change. No Conte to be able to talk to the players in the dressing room, and somehow they came out with a result. Where were you at halftime? Did you think all was over?
We're 30-minute FC. We're 30-minute FC. Tottenham Hotspur. We're 30-minute FC. Oh,
and we smack them in those 30 minutes, don't we?
Like, honestly, again, I'm in a lot of supporters groups on Facebook around the United States on the East Coast. Because again, I've lived in a bunch of areas: Boston, Rhode Island, DC, and everybody was freaking out.
In what sort of way? Freaking out that they've doubted Conte? Freaking out in what sort of way?
At the performances. At the performance in the first half. I'm just like, guys, This is normal. Like, what do you say? This is the worst first half that we've ever seen. It's not. We've had so many bad first halves that I just, Jacket didn't faze me even it's the slightest. It did not faze me even a little bit.
You weren't phased at halftime?
Not even not even a
I need your backbone. I need your backbone.
Not even a little bit. I mean, it was what I expected. We sat back, we did nothing, and we didn't play. And I said, okay, that's what we did against Bournemouth. Cool. And going into the second half, I was just like, listen, if we can play for 30 minutes, if we can start to play at least in the 60th minute, I think we got a chance to tie. I didn't think that, I wasn't sure a win was on the cards, but I said a draw is definitely on the cards here. And sure enough, again, the positivity, Jack. Listen, look, I don't know if you can tell, but again, I've been smiling since I come on. I've been smiling from ear to ear.
Dave, do you hear him in this hot tub of Arsenal tears right now? I can't even get over it. I can't even believe it. I mean,
what we need to do is get a hot tub each if we ever make it, Jacko, and sit here and host fan shows in the hot tub.
Well, Tears, Dave, they do run hot, Dave. Tears, they don't usually run hot. They run cold, and especially Chelsea Tears and Arsenal Tears. I bet they're running very hot right now. So P-Dubs is probably kept very warm by those tears. But
I want to ask you on English
quotes
after the game. Again, it was kind of like confusion about they weren't really told what to do going into this game, according to Langley.
Is that what he said? I believe it, Jack. Or Dave, I believe it. It's okay.
You believe it?
Okay.
It's okay. You believe that he was confused, or you believe that he saw that why were the players so confused?
Said they didn't know what to do in the first half. They didn't know whether to go on attack or whether to sit back and defend.
Listen, you know what, guys? We're just gonna sit back and defend for 55 minutes, and that's okay. Listen, if we go down, it's okay. Listen, I had complete faith, guys. I was, like the goal went in. I was just like, okay, listen, like, okay, I'll get into some negatives. Because again, like, I still got a smile on my face, but I'll still talk shit about, Sessegnon. That was a day to forget for him.
Yeah,
I don't know when he's gonna be back in the team. I mean, I don't know if we have any choice to put him back in the team. But like, boy, it was. I mean, when he was on the right, like I could have sworn that Emerson must have just been skipping in his boots because Emerson must have been like, God, I'm better than this guy on the right at least.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get some more playing time. And then he went to the left and then just gave the goal away, basically.
Do you think we're being a bit harsh on Sessegnon, though, considering he's been asked to do both sides in the first half?
Do we think we're harsh? Oh, Dave, again, I'm pretty positive. I'm a pretty positive person. And Sessegnon deserves to be digged out today.
I
think he deserves to be digged out. Again, it just you gotta fulfill a role.
Last season, though, Rhode Island.
Yeah, he's been, I think he's been okay all year. Just okay. Like, okay. Yeah. Never great, never terrible. And again, you'd figure after he scored a goal, you'd figure maybe there'd be a little bit more positive momentum going in today. But boy, this was his worst game since the Mora game when he got red carded, I think, right?
Yeah. But look, we're at a bit of a crossroads with Sessegnon because we've got Perisic there who's only here, and I think he's got 8 assists already. And you've got Destiny Dozier who's flying at Udinese due to come in here in the summer. So, I mean, what do? Do we keep Sessegnon and hopefully give him more time to develop, even though we've given him 3 or 4 years already? Or do we say, look, you've got to the end of the season to prove a point, and if you don't cut the mustard, you're out?
Yeah, I think the only reason why he's here is because we are having trouble with the English quota. I think he would have been the one sold because I think we would have gotten the most money for him. But again, I think our English quota was definitely taking a hit, which is why I think he had to stay this year.
There is something about that.
Do you think that's maybe why Reguilon was pushed on then?
I do think so. I do. And again, I are we crying for Reguilon now? I think I might be.
Dave and I'll be. It was an unpopular opinion at the time, but Dave and I were kind of thinking that Reguilon was kind of how would you say, the way that Spurs fans started to kind of think about his departure, we thought was a bit harsh because we ultimately thought he actually wasn't that bad of a player as people really like to make him out to be. And also, especially when it comes to delivery, I actually think Reguilon's delivery was actually quality in a lot of moments. Reguilon really knew how to pick his player out and really knew how to kind of pick somebody out in the box. I think as much as Perisic has been brilliant, I think Reguilon was maybe a bit disrespected with how he was going forward. He loved a good dive and he loved a good flop in the box, but I think he was actually not bad going forward. So I agree with you there. But Emerson, sorry, no, you're
go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just gonna get on to
Emerson. Tell me about Emerson. I mean, he took off Sessegnon and he threw in Emerson right away. Didn't even wait a moment. Threw in Emerson right away. What thoughts on the difference between Emerson and Sessegnon?
Marginal. But again, at least Sessing.
I hyped it all up.
Emerson left his bozo gene at home today, thankfully. And again, the acting, the diving act was just glorious. Like I did appreciate that. Like he got thrown like 100 yards and
he's the best for time wasting. You have to have Emerson on for time wasting.
Yes, and I do appreciate that from Emerson. But it's just I don't know why nobody, like other teams, just you don't need anything on the right side against us. You don't need anything on the right. Just pack the left, pack the midfield, and you'll at least get a draw out of us. At worst, it's but like again, the number one need in January, we need a center back. A center back needs to come in.
Let me ask you about the back line though. Tonight was an experiment of Longley in the middle, Davies on the left, and Dyer on the right. Now, for me, I actually really like Longley in the middle. Is Dyer good enough? Is Dyer good enough to displace Romero on the right hand side?
Dave, come on. I mean, I know, like again, Romero hasn't lived up to his heights this year, but Dyer is a fantastic spot starter, as he should be. He should be a spot starter. Same thing with do I think Sanchez is a spot starter anymore?
When Romero's back though, what do we do with Langley and Dyer? Because for me, I prefer Langley in the middle than Dyer.
I think Longley again was my player of the match today. I thought he was good. I thought he was real good in the middle. Again, obviously got his goal, took it well. But I don't know. Like, how much do we love Davies on the left? He's not bad, I guess. Again, having those two switch off. I'm not opposed to it. Again, I think with Romero, Longley, Davies wouldn't be a bad thing. If we rest Dyer, that's okay. Like again, Dyer was just we can't, like all these guys, they shouldn't be playing. Like if these guys are playing 2 games in 10 days, they need to be switched. Yeah. They need to be switched. They just need to be switched. They need to be rotated. They need to be kept fresh at least, so that if they do make their boneheaded mistakes, which they're gonna do, at least maybe they'll be refreshed enough to maybe recover quickly and get after the ball and hopefully not do it again.
100%. And look, going forward, what do we do now? No, Sonny could be out for we don't know how long. Are we now resigned to just playing the 3-5-2 going forward up until the World Cup now?
Dave, we're gonna mash it up, baby. We're gonna mash it up. We're gonna get whatever we can get. Listen, just 2 more games, guys. That's it, right? Just 2 more. 1 league game and 1. What is it? Is it a Carabao Cup game?
Yeah, we've got Liverpool and we've got Forest. Why do I think there's 1 more in there though?
I think that's it. Yeah,
it could be.
I think that's it. I mean,
the next remaining games. The next remaining games. Forest, Leeds, Liverpool.
Oh, Leeds.
Forest, Leeds, Liverpool.
Okay, that Leeds game could be trouble.
Liverpool. In fact, the order of it is Liverpool, Forest, Leeds. Is how it's about to
go. And so that Leeds game is just at the end before the cup.
Yes, it's on the 12th.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have Kulusevski back. I think at that point. I think.
Maybe.
I'm gonna be positive and say yeah. I'm gonna say yes, for sure. And again, Sonny, again, that was tough. Again, I was looking at the replays. Boy, he just got caught. And again, it's just unlucky. But Kane, man, again, big up Kane too today. Big up Kane. I feel like, again, there's times where I've definitely shat on him for subpar performances. Today, you know what? He worked his ass off out there. And he's going to have to do his same again on Sunday.
Yeah, that's actually something to be said. Is actually he's going to continue to play minutes, and even if he isn't getting a lot of the ball or a lot of service, I mean, he's just going to have to continue to run his ass off for 90 minutes, throughout these games, and without putting up a fight. But last, give me the final, comments. Give me the final sort of thoughts. The final bit of things to be thinking about, especially while you're bathing in those Arsenal.
He's making me jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I've got it on low.
What's
right
the hot
now,
tub telling you? What's the last thing I should know? What's the hot tub telling you?
The hot tub's on 101 right now, 101 degrees. It's nice, steamy. It's like 60 degrees outside. Stars around. Listen. This is exactly what I picture Tottenham's title challenge to begin with after the World Cup. We are coming for the title. I don't care. We are pulling shit so far out of our asses that this isn't an accident, guys. We are bringing something that I don't think as Spurs fans have seen. Like, we bottled this. We bottled it already. But then, you know what? Like, game after game after game. Again, I was not worried when we went down in the first half. I said, you know what? That's okay. We're gonna get a goal, and then we might just sit on it, and then guys, as soon as I saw Kane get that ball, I saw Højbjerg. I was like, no way, and boy, what a fucking finish by Iniesta Højbjerg over there.
Oh, I couldn't believe it.
Levin Højbjerg, Levenberg, doesn't matter. Like, just the guy oozes class, and just again was diving all over the place as well too. So again,
he's good for Housery as well. Absolutely,
love that as well. But guys, listen again. I'm can I say I'm happy with the play? You damn fucking right I am. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Big up P-Dubs. Enjoy your night, my man. Enjoy it.
I'm so jealous. He just sounds so relaxed. He's just enjoying life. That's last 16 life in the Champions League in the hot tub. I'm so jealous.
I mean, the vibes.
If I'm ever out that way near P-Dubs, I've got to spend an evening in the hot tub.
You could hear the vibes through the screen of him. He just sounded like the coolest and most relaxed man in the world, Dave. It sounded like, you could tell him everything was, blowing up. The world was going to end tomorrow. He's like, doesn't matter. I'm in the round of 16, lads. I'm just going to sit here in my hot tub. That's what he was saying. Big up, my man.
I love that. Big up, P-Dubs. Rhode Island's finest. Dan THFC back again. My man, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. You know the drill, my man. Fan shows every Friday after every single game.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you Friday, Dan.
Man. Bit late today for today's one. The link is out of the thing, my man. But look, if you do want to come on, just send me a message on Twitter there, and I'll send you a link if you want to come on, brother. Big yourself up, Dan. Who we got
but
next?
There's also Friday as well, Dan. Feel free, nice long conversation you can have Friday. This one is going to be a bit shorter, because we're kind of, it's already so late as it is. But, big long conversation you got Friday, my man. But it's KPV time, Dave. It's KPV time.
Hello, KPV. How you keeping, brother?
Good.
Were them two fingers for the Arsenal fans that wanted us to trip up tonight?
Yeah, those two fingers were for the Arsenal fans, because Thierry and me thought we were going to join him, but no, he can keep moaning, but this is Champions League talk only. They play Thursdays, and enjoy your Thursdays, because whoever they get in the draw on Monday, they're going to get knocked out, and we are going to just keep on winning. But we knocked out the Arsenal reject, so bye-bye, Arsenal B team. Like the Tottenham B team won Europa League to 2 seasons ago, Villarreal, but Arsenal B team is just no good. We beat their asses 2-1. We won the group. So, yeah,
Were we
say
lucky though,
goodbye.
Kyle?
Huh?
Were we lucky? I mean, first half we were absolutely atrocious. Second half, much better. Were we lucky to get out top?
No, we deserve it. Like people are saying we're lucky, but they're probably going to say we're lucky, but we deserve to win the game. But we were pretty lucky, if I say, but we deserve to win the game. And yeah, I'll take the 2-1 win. Now, yeah, form changes. Lost to Man U and Newcastle, but we then go and beat Bournemouth and now these lots. So if we can, yeah, now we roll on the weekend, then Leeds. And so we'll still be in third going into the World Cup. We'll be third, which will be brilliant. So, but yeah, we deserve the win
Easy.
tonight.
How far can we push on after the World Cup, Kyle?
All the way, trust me, all the way.
What are we winning?
We're winning 3, man. We're winning 3. The Carabao Cup is first, then it's the FA Cup, then it's the big one, the UCL. Because
oh no, the UCL as well. I know Kyle likes that UCL trophy.
treble, the domestic treble, mate. Like, yeah, as Kuva says, the quad is still on, but the Premier League, like, if we can beat Liverpool Leeds, then I say we're still in the title picture. But like, I think we will be in it if City get injuries, like they have got injuries, and Liverpool have got injuries. But we are still in the title picture, and we're gonna, like, we've just won tonight. Now we focus on the big game on Super Sunday, and I heard that
result
on Sunday, yes, like Conte has Klopp's number. He knows how to outplay him. And I heard my mate could be back this weekend. Kulu Sexy. Like, there's
Where are
rumors.
you hearing this information, Kyle?
It's probably on Twitter. And I was listening to it on the watch along on We Are Tottenham TV after the game. They said that they heard that Kulu Sexy could be back for the Liverpool game. Like, if Son's out for 6 days, which it looks like he is, because that's probably the rules, like the Premier League protocol rules, he sits out for 6 days. So if he's out, then I'd start Hill ahead of Son, but Son normally starts. But Kane, Hill, Lucas, but I'd rather start Cooley. But yeah, I heard what they said, so I heard it from Ben and Sim. But yeah, my mate could be back. So I've missed him. We've missed him for the last 7 or 8 games. He's not been available, but we need him back for this game because Liverpool haven't come up against him at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Cooley wasn't there for that game when we should have won last season, but yeah, but it would be nice to have him back for that. But tonight, I'll take a win. Zinedine Salzburg, 4 goals and 6 or 7 assists, and another man of match performance from Bentan Sauce.
Benton sauce, absolutely. Bento sauce. We have Salzburg and bento sauce in the same team, KPV.
Yeah. Man of match performance from Bentan Sauce. Like,
have we become Højbjerg and Bentancur FC? Sean brought this up earlier. Sonny and Kane aren't exactly firing in the way that we know they can. They haven't been sort of carrying the team in the way that they usually do. Has it been Bentancur and Højbjerg carrying the team instead, KPV?
Yeah, it's those two because they make a good partnership and they've been brilliant for us. And so we've become Bentan Sauce and Højbjerg. Salzburg FC, yeah.
Salzburg FC. We've just become the Sauce FC, and it's come through the midfield. We got Bento Sauce and Salzburg making up Sauce FC. Absolutely right. What did you make of the impact or maybe not even the impact? Look at the wingbacks today, KPV. Sessegnon versus Emerson. They both got a trial or both got a spot at right wingback today. Which one was better for you? Or even neither? Were they both kind of, disappointing for you?
Oh, are we on about what, first half or second?
Sorry, I just
Both.
bought it with just Sassignon versus
Sessignon
Emerson today.
I'd probably say uh what, like none of them. I'd probably say Emerson Royale was probably better because he came on and he actually had a brilliant game today. He looked great, and Sessegnon just didn't do great. Like giving the ball away every time,
Mm.
not doing great. But like we all know what happened the last time Liverpool came up against Sessegnon last season twice. He had Mo Salah in his back pocket, and
Right.
he's gonna
So are
have.
you starting him again at the weekend then, Kyle? You starting the Sessignon at the weekend again?
Yep, I'm going to start him again because he's already got Mo Salah in his back pocket, home and away. So that's where people can find Mo Salah, in Sessegnon's back pocket, because, yeah, that's what they're going to do. So that's where they'll find him, in Sessegnon's back pocket from last season and this time. So, but Liverpool lost to Leeds United from Yorkshire, so they're gonna lose to us because they're not doing great. They've been shocking, but they're coming to our house. Their record at our house is probably great. They've won there a few times, but we've drawn, took points off them, so we want revenge. Since the Liverpool killer Sonaldo's not going to play, it's going to be Harry Classy, and yeah, he loves a goal against them. I think he's got 7, but Son said it
Wow.
last season. I don't want Liverpool to come and take the 3 points. I just want to take the 3 points, and that's what he said. But who's going to take the 3 points off Liverpool? Like Højbjerg and Bentancur. It's going to be those two, Zinedine Sorsberg and Bentancur. So
you know what,
those
Kyle?
two,
You actually hit a good point there, just quickly, my man. Like they're having massive midfield issues at the minute, but where we're strongest right now is the midfield. If we can take that battle, we have a really good chance of taking the 3 points off Liverpool, and that's exactly what I'd be doing. Just saying, Bentancur, Zinedine Sorsberg, get out there, keep rolling out the same.
yeah, keep rolling out the same, those two, because people who've been saying, "Oh, they're not good, they should leave." No, yeah,
The Sorsberg train, KPV. KPV,
yeah,
as an appreciator of Sorsberg, is
yeah.
it too late for people to get on the Højbjerg left train, or are you going to allow some people to get on the Højbjerg left train? Is it, last call, or is it too late? Where do you stand? Would you allow people on your Højbjerg left train? Do you think it's, you accept some extra fans, or is it too late?
I'll accept some more fans because we've got Ellie and everyone who are a big fan of those two. And so everyone get aboard the Sorsberg and Bentan Source train. Put those two in your FPL team because captain one of them if you want. Like, yeah, you can captain them in FPL, Mini League, and Sky Fantasy and Dream Team. So captain one of them you want and use your triple captain because it's time to jump on their train. So put them in your team. You'll get points. Triple captain will get you triple points. So
Love that.
yeah, put them in your team, everyone. I've already joined the Tottenham Liverpool BetMate League with Ben and Sim. So yeah, download the app, guys. Download it and join and take us all on. So enjoy
Kyle,
the win, everyone. Yo.
Before you do sign out though, who let the dogs out? Who let them out today? Myself and Jack? You never say myself and Jack. Let it be myself and Jack.
Yeah, can you trust us? Can you trust us, KPV?
Jack and Dave let the dogs out, and there's one more person. That is Ellie as well. 3. And
come on.
Everyone let the dogs out. So who let the dogs out? Everyone did. Everyone did. So enjoy the win, boys. And Klopp, we're coming for you because your team's doing shit this season. You haven't won an away game since, I don't know, last season at Old Trafford. It was the last time you won an away game. So good luck with that. But yeah, we're going to take the 3 points because we've got 2 outstanding midfielders who deserve to be nominated for Premier League Team of the Year and Team of the Season, and better be nominated. If EA don't nominate them, then there's clearly not something wrong. So
You're spot on there, Kyle.
nominate them two midfielders, and yeah.
Give me a come on, you Spurs.
All right. Come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust. Let's get the win Sunday and then beat Leeds. And then, yeah, last 16, here we come.
Come on, Kyle.
Come on, Kyle.
Kyle, draw on Monday. Hopefully we get a nice favourable draw, which we've given ourselves the best chance to get. Kyle, never change. Always keep that absolutely love it, my man.
Yeah.
Kyle,
and as always,
we'll see you soon.
yeah, see you soon, boys. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
I love that. Do you know what? I absolutely adore KPV. But one thing I gotta say,
KPV.
he never picks me and you to let the dogs out ever.
I don't think he trusts us, Dave. I don't think he trusts us. I think we're going to get that trust from him. I think he only trusts so many people with that sort of responsibility of letting the dogs out. People like Ellie, Mr. Daigle, Ben and Sim, the very trusted, crew. But we'll eventually get into KPV's trusted crew. Eventually, Dave. We just got to work our way in there.
He's a legend. I love him. I love me a bit of KPV. I really do. But look, let's keep this going.
Wes the King, my man. Wes the King. If you're available, if you're going no camera, let us know.
He's on mute as well. I'm not sure.
Okay, you there, Wes?
All right, we'll just keep moving.
I think we're going to keep moving, Wes. Oh, there he is.
Here he is.
There you go. Hey, Wes.
There he is.
You hear us?
Yep, I hear you.
Alrighty. How we doing, my man?
I'm good. Happy about this win. That's all I can say. But man, Tottenham knows how.
I would imagine.
Yeah, Tottenham knows how to almost kill us, but then make us overjoyed afterwards.
Yeah.
Yes.
For real.
Jack says it's part and parcel of being a Spurs fan. I think he's absolutely correct.
Definition of being a Spurs fan.
Yeah,
tonight,
definitely.
Right,
Yeah, definitely. They need to have that in the byline when we accept to become a member. You will have heart attacks, possibly.
This is what you signed up for, is maybe the right phrase, right?
Yeah,
you can't, like I said, I think in the watch along, I said, if you thought this was a Man City team where things can go easy, you're going to win every game, and you can win 4 or 5-0. There are only a few games a season that you really have to look for on the calendar. This is Spurs. I mean, you find yourself 2-0 down against Bournemouth. The next, game, you find yourself into the round of 16 in the Champions League. It's that sort of team. A team that can go 2-0 down to Bournemouth can also be a team that's somehow in the knockout rounds of the Champions League. That's the team that we're supporting. There it was.
Exactly.
What did you make of that first half, though? Was it a first half that was the worst first half of the season, like some people have said? Were we being a bit harsh? Where did you stand on that? Because I know you like to kind of dive into the tactics and whatnot. And a lot of people have been also speaking about, is this sort of a tactic of Conte's to kind of be that negative, as people might say, or really be that sort of conservative in the first half? Or is it maybe the players letting them down? How do you stand about how dreadful the first half has been, and also how that's been a bit of a pattern, right?
That first half was horrible. That first half was some of the worst football I've seen. It's like we're playing so scary. I'm like, we wasn't even trying to play against these guys. We wasn't even trying to have possession. There was points where they were just kicking the ball out, and we're just giving up, even trying to pass and make connections to keep possession of the ball. It was ridiculous. I like halftime. I wanted to come on this show so bad and literally scream at this screen, at this TV screen. I'm like, what are they doing? And if that's a tactic and that's what we're telling these players to do, we might as well call it a dang season and just get ourselves relegated to championship. Because there ain't no way you're going to be playing for Tottenham Hotspur and play like that. And when you got fans traveling over to Marseille where it's dangerous and they're going against very hard opposition of fans, and you play like that the first half. When people are traveling over here, pretty much risking certain situations happening, going to see you guys play. That's what irks me the most. I'm like, that's not fair to those people, to the fans that are there trying to support you guys. It's like that first half was unacceptable. And then even with Son's little injury, Son is kind of soft to me. Son's kind of soft to me. I don't think he got hit that hard. He may have, maybe I'm in the wrong, but to me,
No, I think
I
you
look
are.
at
I
that.
mean, his face is like twice the size of.
Yeah,
I'll be
it
honest.
started to look like it got swollen. At first, I thought it was a little soft, but then his face did start to get swollen, especially on the left eye. At least from my perspective, his left
he
eye.
got clocked. I'll be honest.
Yeah, he got clocked, and his shoulder must be strong. He must be Zeus or something. I don't know. But
No Højbjerg's shoulder. He's lucky it wasn't Højbjerg's shoulder that hit him there. That would have knocked him clean out. But I agree. His face was like a balloon by the looks of it. And even I think Dave, didn't you see like some post? It was Sean or somebody that showed some like post-match celebration victory. His man, he had a basketball like on his face.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Son has a real problem holding the ball up with his back to goal? Because when he's on the ball, obviously going towards goal, he's most dangerous. But he's got to learn surely that he has to make himself big, be stronger, and hold up that ball with his back towards goal. Because this season he's been extremely frustrating doing that.
Yeah, he has not been good at posting up like that at all. He has not been. His hold up play has been especially apparent this season. His hold up play has been horrible. Even his quick turns has been completely off. It's been completely off, and he hasn't been able to cut inside like he usually does, or flick the ball ahead and get it past the defender like he usually does too. He could do that easy. That's been most of his trademark type of plays. Is they pass it to him. He does a little flick over the defender, and he runs past the defender, gets back on the ball, and then boom, he's off on the run. And usually Kane, that's when he gets ready to get the cross or get the straight low pass. And that's really how we were scoring goals back when, if you remember when Jose was coaching, that was our bread and butter. It was that kind of play, was that over the head little one touch pass over the head. And then boom, you got Kane and Son off to the races. And that has not been the case this season, especially. And his hold up play has been very, very bad. He needs to be. The thing is, he's stronger than what he looks. I know he's skinny, but he's very stronger than what he looks, and it's kind of appalling that he's struggling being able to hold down the ball like that.
A player you really like as well, Ryan Sessegnon, very, very poor today.
Yeah.
Is that a one-off from him, Wes? I mean, we were speaking. I think it was the P-Dubs. You've got Udoji coming in here in the summer. You've got Perisic already with 8 assists to his name. Can Sessegnon get to that level? Because that's where he needs to go if he wants to stay at Tottenham Hotspur.
He got the goal a couple games ago. That was very well. I think it was last game. And that was very good. So the kind of, it's up and down with Sessegnon. I think he could be pretty much the key backup. I don't think he's going to be the starting backup. I don't see it. I don't see him being the starting backup. But I know for Udoji, he's probably going to end up being the starter. You can tell he's doing well over in Italy right now for Udinese. And I just don't, Sessegnon, he's going to have to really do something spectacular these last couple months, because Perisic to me looks too slow. He's getting slower and slower by the game, I think. He's just not.
Even when he's trying to beat his man, Wes, that maybe yard of pace that gets him away, it's not really there, is it?
Especially defensively. I mean, he gets, anytime a fast player knows that he has to pace over Perisic, they're using it, and it's almost like murder for Perisic, and it's getting more apparent each game, especially against quicker and better teams. He has the technical ability when it comes to crosses, passing, things of that nature. Shooting, we haven't seen it, but his pace is becoming a problem, kind of, because everybody thought he was a little bit faster than what he was, and it's just not there.
I agree. I think it's killing them in them decisive moments. Just that little short 4 or 5 yard burst of pace. I think you're absolutely spot on there, my man. Basuma today, though, look, for me, I thought he was absolutely woeful in the first half, but second half he was a lot better. Is he slowly staking his claim for a place in that team, or does he have to do a lot more for you?
He played decently in that second half. First half was horrible, just like pretty much everybody else. But I think he had to gain himself into the game. He had to grow himself into the game because, I think he came into a situation where pretty much Marseille was pretty much dominating. They were completely dominating us by that point, and he was they were completely on form, and there was really nothing he could really do but try his best to kind of control the midfield as much as he could and just do defensive work until we get the rest of our mentality back up. Because remember, we were playing very back-heeled that whole first half, and I think that kind of what's the word for it? Kind of like it went to the other players. Like everybody just started pretty much on the back heel because you had several players doing the same thing. And I think that just killed momentum for the first half, and that killed his beginning play when he got subbed in. Then of course he got unexpectedly subbed in the first half. That usually never happens with some an injury, so he wasn't probably prepared like he should have been. But luckily he drew in the second half, and boom, he actually started playing a whole lot better, especially with Bentancur and Højbjerg.
Definitely. What did you think of Mr. Chicken Royale tonight, as Liam said?
And also the fact that way too much tonight.
Yeah,
I don't need to. King Hoddle and I are going to probably, use our hashtag Save Emerson podcast for a different time. But Liam won, saying I thought Chicken Royale was pretty decent tonight. Where did you, stand on him versus Sessegnon, and also the fact that as well, like he brought him on right away. It's not like he waited. I mean, he seemed to be clearly upset with Sessegnon, or maybe just thinking that he was done with Sessegnon. I'm not sure. I think it just said a lot about Sessegnon with him being basically dragged off, at halftime. So basically he was just willing to throw in anybody, I guess, as somebody else. Yeah.
Pretty much. And Royale played decently. He played decently. Especially defensive wise, he did decently. He did a little bit better. He played good, pushing the ball up a little bit. He still does his little, he'll gain some yardage up and then he'll pass it to the center back. He has my problem with him is that he has no actual dribbling, like a special dribble that he just knows to get past the defender that he use. I guess he has I don't know how you're not practicing that as a professional, but he does not.
You're not a fan of his step over?
He doesn't. What kind of step over is that? I never even seen him do it. He's Brazilian, and I never even seen him attempt a step over. I don't understand that. He's Brazilian, and he has no dribble moves. He has no actual, like every player has at least one move that they know that they learned as a kid or something in academy to get past your defender real quick and just do a little simple move to get past your defender to at least go on a cross or something. And
I think I agree with you, Wes. I think I agree with you. But funny enough is that I think in the past few games, Emerson's actually been a bit better at actually getting past his man. In fact, what I would say is that his sort of meg count is actually quite high from what I've seen in the past few games. He's been megging some guys with actually going by him. If anything, his sort of if his signature move, like you said, his signature Brazilian move is to go for a meg on a player, and maybe he can only pull it off once or twice. But I have seen that he's megged some people in the past few games. So I actually think he's been a bit more brave or adventurous. So I should say
a little bit. I'm seeing tasks of it, but hopefully his signature is never that no look pass that I saw last game. I don't want to see that no more. But other than that, he played decently. He did what we needed him to do for us to get the result we needed.
So, do you know what? It's a shame that Emerson does them no-look pass things, because it was just the timing of it. Like, he doesn't help himself. You're chasing a game. You just need people to do the basics right, and then he tries the no-look pass. It's just, if he doesn't do shit like that, I don't think half as many people.
That's all. That's the whole part of being an Emerson fan, though. King Hoddle knows. It's all part of it. Is that you have to bear with it. You just have to bear with it. You have to bear with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of any final sort of talking. Yeah, any final sort of talking points, any kind of things that maybe you needed to get onto as well, Wes, that you feel like you need to say.
Most of it is just our first half play. This is becoming apparent the last 5 or 6 string of games where we just play horrible first half, and then we have to be down a goal for us to even have any kind of mentality to actually play for real. And for some, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's from Conte. Conte's been saying in recent interviews that that's not what he's been telling the players to do. So I don't know. If this is the mentality from some of these players, they need to get the hell off my club, because playing like that first half, and this is Marseille. This is not freaking Real Madrid. This ain't Bayern Munich playing against. This is Marseille. They have not won the Champions League since 94, 95, which is good. They won one, but they're not that type of team. So what are we doing? What are we doing against that kind of opposition? Their players are pretty much up there with like Southampton and Brighton. That's their type of player. They're not nowhere. They're nowhere near to what we should be. So I don't understand why we're playing like that against them.
What
I
did
got
you?
panic with a team like Man City or somebody.
Yeah. What did you? Are you kind of relieved, Wes, that I think we're now thinking about Højbjerg by scoring that goal basically ruled out our chances of playing Napoli, Bayern Munich, etc. Are you actually quite relieved, come to think about it, about not playing those teams? Because I think we all would be ecstatic just to be further in the Champions League, etc. But had we finished second, that would be the teams that we'd be looking at. And I think we wouldn't be looking at our chances very strongly. But the dream can sort of stay alive, you could say, for at least the time being, with Højbjerg scoring that goal.
Yep. Right. I feel actually, when I look at who's left in 16, if we get back into good form, we have I hate to say it,
It's
but
nice to avoid those teams right away,
yeah,
basically.
it's like one of the teams, but I think we actually, if you look at those teams as in the final 16, the teams that they already knocked off, that everybody thought was going to be going further. A lot of big teams got knocked off already.
You're right.
In group stages, and I'm starting to like our chances a little bit, but I have to see how we play in these 1-0 games and see what we do then, and see if our form picks back up. If we can last through the World Cup and last in, there's a good chance that could be another one that we may see another final. Maybe that's what I'm hoping for. I'm gonna just keep the positives going and just hope make something out of this in the positive light. But I like what we're seeing. There's only a few teams left that we're probably scared of, and the rest of them are kind of like either on our level or a little bit under. But it's going to be hard to see. But it's Champions League, so Champions League is always about pretty much luck. So we'll see.
Before we let you go, Wes, just quickly, you talk about you're getting some vibes. So you're getting 2019 vibes. A lot of injuries to our squad. Getting out of the last group game. Hopefully a bit of luck along the way.
It's similar. It's looking very similar. If you look at how that run went, we went just on a tear because we just got informed. Mm-hmm. Once we got informed, and one of our players, and we had like at least one player just completely play out of his depth, bruh, it was horses to races. The only thing is we couldn't finish the final. That was the only thing. Mm-hmm. We just couldn't finish the final. But hopefully something like that similarly happens. We're still in. That's all I cared about. We're still in the mug. So that means we still got a chance, regardless of what anybody says, regardless of what the media says. They all know the media pretty much got us as a 0.1% chance of even winning it. But you never know in football. You never know.
I like it though, it's what we got to get used to this as Spurs fans. We're always underdogs, and one day the underdog will always beat the favorite. But look, I didn't know about this, but where's the King Twitter and YouTube? Plug it.
Thank you. Thank you guys for putting me up there. Just follow my Twitter. I'm always usually trying to post on there. I'm trying to post on articles I'm writing for my student newspaper. I'm the sports editor for it. So, if y'all guys can follow, just look at it, look at some of my articles. I appreciate it. But and then, of course, most of my YouTube stuff is pretty much on this channel. I support this channel mostly. This is where I'm most going to be on because, I love this channel a lot. I love you guys a lot. So, this is pretty much where you find me.
Post-match voice is the post-match voice.
Look, we got to get back to getting your post-match views up there again as well, because I was really enjoying them, but so many others were as well. So look, we'll definitely get arranged that to get it back up for the next game, my man.
Appreciate it. No, I want to.
Thanks for your patience as well tonight as well, Wes, and thanks for coming on, brother. Really
all right, see you guys.
And now that I know this is here, I have something to listen to tomorrow during the day. Big up, Wes.
Come on, Spurs. Let's go.
Big up.
Come on, you Spurs.
See you soon.
Let's have it.
All right.
Big up, Wes. I really enjoy Wes's analysis. He says some things that maybe I don't see, like that little yard of pace with Perisic just to beat his man, or just to be able to get a block in from across and all.
He just comes prepared. I think, as we say, Dave, he comes prepared. It feels like the guy, he knows what he wants to say, when going into it. Sometimes you don't even need to ask him the questions. He knows what he wants to say. And if you enjoy Wes, if you even if you disagree or whatever you might be, just show him some support and follow him on Twitter and show him some support on YouTube. But Dave, I'm looking forward to this one as well. A bit of a regular on the fan shows recently. I've been even dragging him on to the fan shows, but now he can actually enjoy both of us at the same time. Here he is, Phil.
Hey, what's happening? You're all lads.
last 16, Phil.
Oh man! Oh,
Just by the way, Phil, I see you went with the Premier League badge. See, I kind of went with the Champions League badge on that one.
Yeah,
So I think you got to give that, a big little kiss
yeah.
right there, my
Oh,
man.
that shows.
I
Oh,
might
that
put.
shows.
I might
You
purchase one of them, Jack, for the knockout stages.
Stitching it, maybe just steal one and just stitch it on. Just try to stitch it on yourself.
Yeah,
Get the Premier League and the one at the same time. That'd be nice.
Phil was
Oh,
expecting us to go out early. That's why, Jacko, you foreseen us staying in it a bit longer. That's why it happened. But look, Phil, we're there by hook or crook. Not the most enjoyable games, not the most exciting game to watch by a long stretch of the imagination. But we're there. Are you happy with the mentality that we showed? The fact that we, even though we've gone in 1-0 down again, yet at halftime for the fourth game running, we still showed the fight to get out with what we needed to do.
Yeah. I'm so drained from that performance. I mean, my throat's gone and everything now. My voice is gone. I'm on the H2O to sort that out. Like, but fucking hell, yeah.
Good man.
But, yeah. In regards to the performance, I think with everyone's saying about Conte's tactics, wanting us to play shit in the first half and then having a good second half. I think it's total nonsense. I think it's to do with the players and they can't implement his game plan. That's all it boils down to, really. As soon as he gets the players that he wants in the next couple of transfer windows, I think you'll see a change in the first half massively. I just think the players can't implement his game plan.
I agree with you. Look, if it was just under Conte exclusively, I could say, okay, maybe this is an Antonio Conte thing. But the fact that we've seen this so many times with some of the same core spine of this team throughout the years, it can't just be the manager. It's got to be more than that. It's either a deeper issue in the club or it's just down to the players. But I agree. I think they find themselves wilting under the pressure, and then it's kind of like they get in at halftime. It's like, guys, the pressure's gone now. The game's behind us. You know what I mean? Go out there and just play with a bit of freedom, and then it's like they go and do it. But you see Harry Kane's quotes leading into this, long list quotes after the game. Like they both kind of allude to the same thing. It's kind of like we're going out there with the instructions and all, but we're not carrying them out.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere in the stadium the first half was did play on their minds a bit. I think to do with their performance in the first half.
Should that really be affecting them, though? Especially if they want to win, should that be affecting them?
But there's players in that team that started tonight that basically they're not experienced enough in the Champions League, like the likes of Sessegnon.
Even Basuma, was coming into that game off the bench, right? He's never probably been a player dragged off, the bench. Was even probably thinking with Sonny on the team, maybe he come in the second half. Basuma gets dragged into that game. Let's be honest, as much as we rate him, it's not like he's been in that scenario before, so he even lacked the experience there. So
I mean, if you look at like the likes of Emerson, did he play in the Champions League for us before this? Well, not for us, but for previous teams he played for.
Even not even previous games. No.
Yeah, they were in the Champions League. Basuma, Brighton, he's never played in the Champions League. There's a lot of players in our team that aren't experienced enough at that level at the moment. So I think that's a factor as well. Performance wasn't great, but the main thing is we got through, and hopefully we get a nice draw in the next round.
Any teams you have your eyes on that you're thinking potentially we could get them and then get into the quarters?
I think they're all
maybe Club Rouge.
Yeah, I think they're all going to be good. I'd rather us play someone who's not far away, travelling wise. Someone like Bruges, somewhere a couple of hours away, something like that, because we don't travel well. So the nearest place possible, really.
Well, if it was Bruges, I mean, we at least could know is that if they put in that dreadful of a first half, we could ask them to swim home. It's really that close, I could say. So we found ourselves before in that situation when we were at the test. We just asked them just to swim home because it really wasn't that far. But sorry, kind of if you wanted to go somewhere else, do you want to talk about the midfield here, Phil? Because basically, this is sort of what Sean alluded to, but have they been the best players this season, Højbjerg and Bentancur? They actually been sort of the team, like as Son and Kane FC, we've been labeled before, is a Højbjerg and Bentancur FC, Sauceberg and Bento Sauce FC. Have we become that?
Yeah, I think them two have been a revelation this season for us. I think Højbjerg, I think he deserves to be the captain at the minute. I mean, Hugo's is a good servant to us. Big shout out to him as well. He made some pretty good saves tonight, and he weren't that shaky even with his feet. Like, so I think
he was commanding his players as well. He's yelling at his players. What we saw on the TV, at least, I thought he was a lot more commanding as a captain. He was more
assured on the ball, more calm on the ball, and I don't know if that was because he's so used to playing against the French teams and stuff, and he's got a lot of experience in the Champions League, and but yeah, I think he played well tonight. I think a lot of people haven't said how well he played, really.
Yeah, he made some good saves in the first half, and in fact, he was unlucky, I would thought, to concede in that first half because he probably deserved the clean sheet when you really looked at how well he was sort of playing, because he was keeping us in it. He was a calm, cool head. I thought there were some moments as well where he easily could have maybe spilled it from some of the shots that he had, but he actually calm, cool hands, kept it together. And like we saw that we've never seen from Hugo before, yelling at his players. I thought, Phil, at one stage, I think it was Sessegnon with that horrible misclearance that gave them a chance. Immediately after making the save right afterwards, instead of taking the high fives and the pats on the head and all that stuff, did exactly what Dave was asking for, screaming at Sessegnon, telling him to wake up, etc., which was
100%.
I mean, we don't see that from him all the time. We don't see that.
No, I mean, Bentancur was class tonight. He was head and shoulders above everyone. I think he just, the way he carries the ball and gets us out, and he's a class player. He is. He's getting better and better each game.
Do you know what I really like about some of his performances, Phil? Is look, I agree with you. I think he's exceptional at carrying the ball. The weight of his passing and everything else is brilliant. But what I've been most impressed about is actually how much he's led the teams in terms of pressing, the hunger and the desire to go and win that ball and try and get Tottenham getting onto the front foot. Why can't the rest of the players show that?
I just don't think they've got the capabilities. Højbjerg did it a bit tonight, to be fair, especially with his goal, and what a goal it was, by the way. But yeah, what a goal! I expected him to cut it back to Kane.
We wanted to see him play.
I thought he was just going to dummy it and then just square it to Kane.
Yeah.
But fair play to him. What a finish! But yeah, Basuma can do that as well. He can carry the ball. But yeah, I do think we still need a creative midfielder in there. Just give us that option going forward. In a 3-5-2 or probably not 3-4-3.
I hear a lot of people saying this, but Bentancur already has 3 goals and a couple of assists this season. Højbjerg's already got 4 goals and 4 assists. So is it really a cam that we're lacking then?
It's just an option, isn't it? You know what I mean? Another option on the bench, another game plan, like a plan B or a plan C for Conte. In certain games to break teams down. Do you know what I mean? So just having that option on the bench I think it's vital to have, really. And we haven't got anyone like that. Since Eriksen and Modric, we haven't had one. So I do think we need to strengthen in that area, along with a centre back, of course.
Look, I can definitely see the arguments for for that, Cam. I just wonder if Højbjerg and Bentancur's output this year maybe alleviates that a little, maybe, and pushes that on the back burner till the summer and makes the defense more of an urgent issue. But I think it'd be very interesting to see how that plans out in the January transfer window. But as well, how important is it to get that European away hoodoo off our back? No winning 2 years away from Europe. It's finally up. We've got to win away.
Feels
from
good.
home.
Maybe this will just push us forward now and get more results away from home in Europe, or just in Europe in general.
True.
Do you know what I mean? That hoodoo was just it was ridiculous, really. The record with Conte as well. But big shout out to Stellini as well.
100% record.
The brain. That's what I'm going to call him now, the brain.
I was going to put my name Stellini in the name, a bit of a piss take.
Stellini.
You should have done it.
Good man. Who did you give man of the match, actually, Phil? Just so I know.
I'd give it Bentancur. Okay. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Bentancur for me.
Nice.
So the whole team played well in the second half. And big shout out to the players as well, because they've been getting a lot of stick and getting the Spursy tag and stuff. And Conte's been getting us through a lot of games.
Does this game chip away at that Spursy tag? It's something I asked Kev Williams there earlier. A bit of that gets eroded away, I think, after that bit of respect. This is, like we said, if we had one against Man United, Spursy tag kind of gets eroded away a bit. You kind of demand a bit of respect. Feels like after doing this, when every single fan that hates Spurs was on at halftime, they all, like I said on the watch along, Phil, I said, you know what, they were probably canceling work, canceling dinner plans, because they were all thinking they were about to watch Spurs kind of fumble another big opportunity. But they got to absolutely rub it in their face in this sort of manner, and I think it just chips away at that Spursiness tag.
I mean, I've got a mate at work, he's a diehard Arsenal fan, and he's been giving me loads of shit all week about this game, and I can't wait to give him some tomorrow. To be fair,
make sure you walk in with a really heavy bag and tell him to take it all back, my man. He's gonna be absolutely raging.
Don't you worry, mate. I'll be giving him loads of stick tomorrow. Don't worry about that.
No, honestly, and you know what? Just give him that bit extra and just say that's from the Irish Hotspur as well. I can't resist the cheeky dig at any of the gunners. But Phil, how far do you think we could take this after World Cup? Because, I sat there after the game and I had a bit of an epiphany. I was kind of like thinking, look, there are players holding themselves back for the World Cup, still waiting for a lot of our team to click. I think they will after the World Cup once that's out of the way. We're still in the mix here in everything. How far can we go after the World Cup?
Yeah, I think, we're in a good position, aren't we? I mean, we're third in the league. We're in every competition. We're through to the next round now of the Champions League, so we can just wait for that. I think we need a few additions in January. If we are in the position in the league come January, I think we'll strengthen. I think Levy will give Conte the money to strengthen. I think we could kick on from there and do really well. I don't think we'll win the league, if I'm honest with you. I don't. Being realistic, I mean, I'll be happy with second or third. I think that is realistic, and a trophy as well this season. I think that is realistic. So, I think we can go, pretty far this year.
Yeah, I think so. I'm getting excited, my man. I'm starting to get that excited feeling back.
Me too, mate. Me too.
Phil, any final messages for the Spurs fans out there?
Anything you want to say?
No, just keep faith in Conte, of course. All the Conte haters, they're all
going to be a big fight again,
aren't they? So just keep the faith, be in the Conte fan club, and let's carry this season going. Let's keep it going, man.
I love that, my man. Well, Phil, I've really enjoyed you since you started coming on to these fans. You always like good comments.
Thanks for having me on.
man. I really enjoy you coming on. Keep going on, brother.
Nice one.
And look, we're in the last 16, my man. We're there. Come on, you Spurs.
Come
on,
on.
Phil. Come
Get in
on.
there. Come on, you Spurs. In Conte, we trust.
Absolutely.
Phil,
Legend.
hopefully we'll speak to you Friday, my man.
No worries. No worries. Will do. See you later.
Phil. See you soon,
Bye-bye.
brother.
Big up, Phil. Absolute legend. I really like Phil as well. He's another good guy. I really like listening to him. But look, we're down to the last guest of the evening. We've been going for 10 hours straight now. Absolutely incredible shift from us today, Jacko. And we're all down to the last guy before we end it off. And that is the one and only Ryan. Ryan, how are you keeping, my man?
Yo, guys. Wanted to start off by giving a bit of information, actually, that I've actually heard today. I don't know how true it is, but apparently in January, we're actually getting about 4 world-class players in.
Nah, that's definitely not true.
Who's Ryan's?
Well,
is this Ryan's source? Is this Ryan's source?
I'm only going by what I've heard. Apparently, we're looking at 4 world-class players. So, fingers crossed, let's get them in.
Oh, I'd say we're looking, but from a distance. I'd say we're just admiring.
I don't know. I mean, there have been a few rumbles, aren't there, really? But, you know, I mean, if we can get them, if we can get 4 world-class signings in, it's going to send us to a whole new level, isn't it? So,
well, 100%. We're at the opportunity to take it to a whole new level because we've taken it to the level of the round of 16 here. Ryan, how do you feel being a man that is still left in the Champions League? You're still in the Champions League.
I'm going to be realistic. Realistically, everyone's getting their hopes up at the moment, thinking that and they're forgetting about what happened only a few weeks ago.
But that's the magic of football.
Yeah.
October's done, 1st of November, we're a new team with new optimism.
Yeah, but you can't always forget about the recent results that have gone against us, can you, really? You've got to realistically look at that, and everyone, I'm not saying stop getting hyper about it and doing whatever, but please think realistically, everybody. Because by over the weekend, it could all come crashing down again.
No, 100%. But that's the way football is, my man. I mean, we spent enough time dwelling on it and being negative over the month of October. Yeah. Why can't we sit here and enjoy the last 2 wins that we've come back in the very last minute to go nick?
I mean, it was a deserved second half. Let's not get it wrong, right? That second half was literally 1,000 times better. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Højbjerg, literally, I bet Jack was literally.
His name properly. You didn't address him by his proper name.
Didn't I?
Salzburg.
Zinedine Salzburg.
Haven't you been listening to us, Ryan?
I've literally been. You know what? I've literally been making a couple of sandwiches and everything. So
no, I mean, over the last few months, we've been telling everybody to call him Salzburg. No reason to bother with the pronunciation of Højbjerg any longer, Ryan. Just call him Salzburg.
All right, cool. Salzburg, then. I bet Jack must have been literally screaming the house down, weren't he?
Certainly was. Certainly was. What a finish.
There's a complaint tomorrow.
I bet you had the police at your door thinking someone must have been you or something.
Definitely heard somebody, yell back at me. I'll tell you that. Definitely somebody did. But Ryan, is that a screamer? Yeah. We've been asking this. Was that a screamer? Does that qualify as a screamer for you?
Yeah, definitely.
What a finish, definitely. Right? One of the best finishes of the season, actually, I would say, probably even one of the best goals of the season when you really look at it. We haven't actually had a Lucas Moura versus Norwich kind of goal yet. This was probably one of the better goals I think we've scored this season, that Højbjerg
goal. And you know what? I think it will be the goal of the Champions League. Out of the whole competition, not going to beat that.
So Messi and Neymar, Mbappe, they're all going to be going home empty-handed. They're going to be going home in tears.
Yeah.
Salzburg's going to take it.
Yeah, and I also think that they'll be going home they'll come, obviously, when we eventually do have to play them, they'll be coming to London and they'll be going down. Instead of trying to find their way back, they'll be going down to Arsenal, trying to find their way home. But they'll be that upset about being knocked out by the Champions League by us, so they'll be going to Arsenal instead of going home.
Yeah, spot on. Absolutely spot on, man. I'd say they're sitting there absolutely gutted tonight, you know, but it makes it even more sweeter. But Ryan, I mean, any teams that you want specifically in the round of 16?
To be honest, just obviously with the information I have obviously heard today about apparently the 4 world-class players, and if they do come in, I'll take anyone. I'll have anybody. I don't care. We'll take Bayern Munich. We'll take Bruges. We'll take anybody. If they come in, right, mark my words, right, I will not be looking at the last 16. I'll be looking at the final. And I'll be looking at who we can possibly play on the way to the final. And do you know what? I don't know who the 4 world-class... They haven't given any names to who the 4 world-class players are, but apparently 2 of them are defenders.
I hope 2 of them are defenders, Ryan. We need some defenders. 4 world-class players in one window. That would be absolutely tremendous. Even just one alone, I think, is certainly enough. But what did you kind of, last 2 questions for you here, my man. What was your sort of man of the match? Is it Højbjerg? Is it Bentancur? Is it somebody else? Who was your man of the match today?
Well, there's only one person it can be. Your
Who's
man.
That? Is
Your
it my
man.
man? Is it PEH? Is it the
Yep.
Le Højbjerg?
You sure it's
Yep.
not Emerson?
Le Sosberg?
Yep.
Tell me why. What was it about him today? Because I'll be honest, as much as I am his biggest fan alongside Ellie, Brian, he wasn't very good in the first half.
No, but then neither was anybody else, though, were they, really? None of them in the first half were playing that well. If you think about it realistically, they all had a shocker. So, you can't really judge anybody on that first half performance. And if you're going to give the man of the match to anybody, it's got to be your man. And Emerson, I mean, all right, he had one good game in that second half. But what? Half an hour over, what? A whole 90 minutes. I know I could say that the same about absolutely everybody. But
to be fair, he was only given 45 minutes.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to think of the faults that are always haunting us in the long term. Like, how many more good games is Emerson going to actually have?
Loads.
I think a few more. I think I'll have a few more. I think he was only given 45 minutes ultimately, Ryan, and he took those chances. And also, Ryan Sessegnon was given the chance at right wing back and just didn't take it at all whatsoever. And I thought Emerson was.
Yeah, I think Sessegnon, he was piss poor today. Sessegnon, and that's not trying to be harsh on the boy. I know he's still only young and he's still trying to learn, but today he was just piss poor. And Kane, in that first half, it's like look, don't get me wrong, I love Kane, I love Son, and that's another thing. Son's injury, that looks terrible. Yeah. And that's now going to put him back, and that's sad because he was all right. He wasn't having the best start to the campaign, but then at one point, but you can't go around saying that. Well, not you literally, but it's just like things that people are going to be saying tomorrow that he would have deserved to have got that because now he'll have about 4 weeks rest.
Yeah,
but then go on, Dave.
You'll never deserve that, my man. Never. I don't think anyone will say you deserve that. He doesn't deserve it whatsoever. I mean, the guy has tried his heart out ever since he's been here. So
yeah. Whoops. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, that was Jack coming off.
And that's his dinner arriving, my man. I'm gonna go and have mine now as well in a minute. But Ryan, any final any final message to Spurs fans out there?
Well, we need to back Conte for starters, and I mean Conte. I know he wasn't down there tonight, and he was obviously sitting up in the stands, But people need to get off Conte's back. It's still not his team. And, you know, I just feel like people have got on his back, and he just needs, it's not that even he needs the time. He just needs to have the right players. Because if he can do that with people like Kane, Son and Kulu last year, then imagine what he could do with a few more players coming through the door. Do you know what I mean? So realistically, they need you. Everyone that wants Conte out, just back off for the time being. Give him a bit of, let him wave his magic with his players. Because if you don't let him wave his magic, I know he's a magician, and we all know he's a magician because after last season, but just give the bloke some time. He's not even been in the job more than a year, right? He hasn't even had the time to have the funds from, well, I don't even want to say their name because I don't even want to give them the clout. I'm just going to call them. But you know, he hasn't had their money to spend. So literally, everyone just needs to get off his back. Just support him, because that's what happens, right? If you don't support him and he decides he's going to walk in January, what? Then you're all going to be going, hey, who are we going to bring in next? Oh no, the next manager's going to be even worse. Oh, let's all jump on his back. Then we're going to be going around and around in circles. So just give Conte time, because whoever we get in next, you're going to wish that Conte had never left. Absolutely. That's the way it's going to look. And it's not just that. It's not just the way it's going to look. It's the way it's going to be. Because it's going to, you're not going to get, unless the only way we'd ever be happy after that is if we get Klopp or Pep.
Never going to happen.
Why are them, first of all, why are them two going to come into our club?
Yeah. No, look, I couldn't agree more, my man, but I think that's a very important message, man, to end off. Everybody absolutely get behind Conte. But Ryan, really appreciate your time and coming on, my man, and hopefully we'll see you again Friday. Yeah,
in Conte I trust.
In Conte you trust. Love hearing that, Ryan. Big up, brother. See you soon, my man.
See you soon, my man. See you, Ryan. Everybody, that's Ryan as well. But look, that brings an end to the day. That's another long shift. You know, we keep delivering what we promise you we're going to deliver, and it's even more enjoyable when we win. But look, that's it from us for today. We'll be back tomorrow with Twitter reacts and hopefully a good debate show as well. As you can see, I've got the hiccups. I need to go and get some water into the system. Need to go and get food. But massive thank you to everybody out there who has joined us all day today, from 4 p.m. from the build-up to 2 p.m. for the fan show, all the way through. Really appreciate every single one of you. A massive big up to this man beside me as well, doing it with me. And we'll see you all back here tomorrow. Enjoy being in the last 16. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust. Massive day, everybody. Thanks for supporting us throughout the day. Enjoy yourselves. Go to sleep or enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are in the world. But big yourselves up. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Everywhere we go, everywhere we go, everywhere we go.